There are only 4 teams left in the 5A ranks in the Rio Grande Valley playing in the third round of the playoffs. They are calling this Valley Week in San Antonio as all Valley schools are playing against San Antonio teams. Hello, everybody. I'm Carlos Robledo along with Joey Calvillo here at electrified Bobby Lackey Stadium for the third round of the playoffs as the 10-2 Weslaco Panthers are taking on San Antonio Madison, the Mavericks, who come into this football game with an 11-1 record. It should be an exciting game, the third round of the playoffs. And anytime you talk about the Weslaco Panthers, you got to talk about Mishak Rivas, over 3,000 yards rushing and 44 touchdowns. Can he have a good game against this tough Madison defense?
I think he can, Carlos. I think one of the best things that Mishak has running for him is that once he gets past that defensive line, which is a very big defensive line, he's going to have open field. The defensive backs, the linebackers are not as fast as he is, but the only thing he has working against him is the fact that they've seen fast guys before.
Right. Yeah, anytime you talk about San Antonio, you got fast up there, you got fast speed up in the San Antonio area, but you got to remember Mishak got third place in the 400 at state, so one of the fastest guys in the state. He was a second-team All-State last year at running back, should be first team this year. When you talk about Madison, you're talking about Devin Thomas. He's committed to Arkansas to play at the D1 level, but he's out of this game.
Yeah, and he was out in October, Carlos, and they had second string and third string running back coming in, and they ended up getting hurt in the last game of the regular season. So we're looking at a converted DB running up against our defense, and I think we have a pretty good chance, Carlos.
Yeah, well, Devin Thomas went out. Not only that, but the second team running back also went out. Yeah. So they're playing basically with a guy who played defense all season long.
Yeah, he played defense all season long. The reason they moved him to running back was because his brother was a standout in a couple years before. So they decided, hey, it must run in the family. Get in the backfield and run for us. They have 2 defensive backs running in the backfield, along with a converted fullback in the running back position. That wing T offense they run is a offense which uses a lot of running backs. So we'll see what they have in store for our defense tonight.
Yeah, speaking of that offense, as the band comes by here, yeah, we're over here back in the drum section one again.
I don't want to hear you, Carlos.
But I know you guys can hear me at home, but they played against San Marcos in the first round of the playoffs. I'm talking about San Antonio Madison, and San Marcos runs the same offense that Weslaco does.
And San Marcos put up a tremendous amount of yardage, and their running backs are not as fast as Mishak is. So if Mishak can get past that first line of defense, which is the defensive line, which is a big defensive line, those big old paws grabbing a Mishak, if he can scoot and scatter around him, he can make it pass and run those 70, 60, 80-yard runs that he normally does.
Well, let's see what happens. There's been a lot of excitement here at Weslaco. Joey, you are a member of the school district here. You work at Weslaco High School and Weslaco East. What has it been like for the Weslaco Panthers? First of all, and to be playing in the third round of the playoffs.
Well, from the students' perspective, it looks like the students are expect to win. And that's something that we have not seen since 1991 here at Weslaco. They expect to win. They expect to make it to the next round. And it's kind of sweet that it's against Madison, which they lost to in 91. And let's hopefully revenge that loss, Carlos. We really want to come back and face a Smithson Valley team that we defensively, I think, can really do great.
Right. Smithson Valley, they won last night against Harlingen South. And the coin flips, the luck has been on the side of the Weslaco Panthers because they won the coin flip against Edinburgh North, Mac High. They won the game, or the flip, I should say, against Madison. And they won the coin flip for the fourth round of the playoffs if they were to qualify for the fourth round of the playoffs. So a lot of excitement here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. Tickets have been hard to come by. Everybody wants to come to this game. It's the hottest ticket in town.
Exactly. You know, we get here early. I was talking to Terry downstairs, and Terry's like, I came by at like 1 o'clock, and there was people barbecuing out here. He says, if I would have known that, I would have probably had breakfast here, lunch and dinner. There was people barbecuing out here. There was people just enjoying themselves out there. It is a playoff kind of atmosphere. It is something that I have not seen personally in a long time. I am really looking forward to this game. And people have asked me, Carlos, of course, working at the school, teachers have asked me, students have asked me, hey, sir, do we, Mr. Calvillo or Joey, do we have a chance to win this game? And I really believe that we have a unbelievably good chance to win. And the reason is our offense is facing a defense that's stout, yes, but our defense is facing an offensive that's crippled, an offense that rely on the run so much. You look at the last 2 games that they faced in the playoffs, they have not put up the yardage, the points that they did when Devin Thomas was in the lineup. They have almost half that yardage average. And I just a few things, Carlos, I want to share with you and our viewers. Madison was averaging 19 points in the last 2 games. Before that, 44. So they're not the offensive squad they used to be.
Right.
They're on the ground. They were averaging almost 400 yards a game before Thomas went out. After he went out, 185. So they are not the offensive juggernaut that they were before. Right. So our defense can handle it. Again, our defense is kind of hurt in some areas. Can they come up with a big play when they need it? I think we can.
Right.
They're not that much bigger. We faced bigger teams, I believe. Looking at the players out here, we faced bigger teams before. We have not seen this kind of speed. But I think we can overcome that, and offensively, I think we can really, Mishak can run all over the field again.
In the 90s, when the Weslaco Panthers and Valley teams were playing football, they didn't go up against the 300-pound guys, the 275 offense or defensive line. They've seen it this year. They've seen it when they played at Calchelsa. They saw it when they played against the Donna Redskins, Los Fresnos, and San Benito. They've played in the big games, so they are well prepared for this game tonight.
Yeah, I was looking at the weights, and you know, I always look at weight because look at me. But I look at the weights, and we're about the same as they are. They're not that much bigger size-wise than they are. Now, height-wise, that's a different story. But height doesn't mean speed. And we have speed. We have the offensive power to go ahead and pass them. I think Dylan is going to have a good night tonight. One of the things I talked to with one of my friends from the Monitor, we were talking about how this offense and how this game's going to be come out. Is it going to be a shootout? Is it going to be one of those typical Panther games where we're going to shoot out, or is it going to be a defensive battle? You know, me being the Browns fan that I am, I always go against everybody else, and I truly believe this will be a low-scoring game. And it plays in our hands, and the way it plays in our hands, Carlos, is the fact that when Mishak has the ball, and you don't know what's going to happen. So if you give him the ball as many times as you know, punting as they're going to be doing, which I believe, he's going to hit that one time. Just give him one time, and that's all he needs.
The wind's going to play a little bit of a factor tonight. It is a windy afternoon here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. Joey Calvillo, thank you very much. We will see him again at halftime with some halftime statistics. We look forward to that. Can the Weslaco Panthers beat a San Antonio team? Just ask the Edinburgh Bobcats. November 26, 1999, the late Robert Vela and the Edinburgh Bobcats beat San Antonio's Taft by a score of 35-32. When we come back, Terry Byler will bring you the play-by-play. I'll be back in the booth for color commentary. Sit back and watch the Weslaco Panthers versus San Antonio Madison. He's going to try to run for it, but he's not going to get anywhere as the Weslaco Panthers are there.
This is where we hold them.
Oh, my!
This is where we fight.
Touchdown!
This is our house.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Bobby Lackey Stadium. Terry Beitler along with Carlos Robledo. Regional semifinals in the state of Texas. Class 5A, Division II. Carlos, this is what we've been playing all season for right here.
Electrifying over here at Bobby Lackey Stadium with a capacity crowd here, 8,400 plus, I'm sure, Terry.
At least that.
The buildup is finally here as Madison traveled down all the way from San Antonio, a 4-hour drive. They come in here with an 11-1 record. Their only loss was to Converse Judson in that football game. They had 5 turnovers, Terry. They've also lost their number 1 running back, Devin Thomas, who has already committed to play D1 football at Arkansas, so he will be playing at the next level. But we got our own back in Mishak Rivas, over 3,000 yards rushing, 44 touchdowns, and he has got certainly a tough time ahead of him, or maybe not a tough time, but a tough job, I should say, because Madison, they are a tough defense, big, stout, quick, fast. Coach Vidal said they're sort of like Edinburgh North and Mac High put together. But if anyone can do it, Meshack can.
Well, you got to know he's going to have a big bullet on his back, that's for sure. He's going to be the target. But you know, you and I, Carlos, know that we've been following this team all year long. We've got 2 other backs can put 100 on the board in a hurry, so you don't just key on him. I mean, obviously he is the star running back, but there's some other guys that can carry the load as well.
Yeah, I mentioned Devin Thomas. He's out for this football game. He broke his ankle earlier in the season around the October mark, so they brought in the backup. He also hurt his knee, so they're playing with their 3rd string running back, and the player actually had to come over from the defensive side of the ball to play on the football team.
Well, yeah, their calling card is their defense, but Carlos, you know, we've been playing some pretty good defenses this year, and we've torn the statistics up a little bit. And Meshack's trying to get him pumped up. I'm sure they've scouted him, but like I said, there's other guys. I don't see this team kicking away from him. I really don't. Although that might not be a bad idea.
Well, with this wind, Terry, also the wind's
Oh, yeah.
going to play a factor in this football game. The flag is standing at attention.
Oh, yeah.
You know, 35, maybe even 40-mile-per-hour winds. It was pretty not as windy this morning, but all of a sudden it got windy this afternoon, and that's going to wreak havoc on the passing game. The Weslaco Panthers will be going against the wind first, and so the Mavericks will have the wind here, and they have more of a balanced attack. Since they lost Devin Thomas, they've used their passing game a little bit more. They run, they do a little bit of everything, and anytime you're playing against a San Antonio team, you know there's going to be a lot of talent on the other side of that ball, so it should be a great ball game.
It should be, and I tell you, with the wind out here, Carlos, I don't think Rivas is even going to see this thing. Because if he gets anything into it, it's going to go out of the field of play.
This should go out of the end zone. Yeah, that wind is so strong.
That wind, it wouldn't surprise me to see 50-yard field goals out here today. Here we go. Regional semifinals underway. We're going to have a flag because one of the players from Madison was offside. I saw him ahead of the ball. We're going to bring this all back, and they're going to have to kick it again. But the wind is so strong, I think you can kick it out from 70 yards today. The wind is unbelievable.
And already that's what you want to stay away from. You know, in the playoffs, you need to have, you know, pretty good games. You know, you can't have perfect games. There's no such a thing, but you need to keep away from those mistakes, and the flags come early for the Mavericks. Flags, turnovers, those are all going to be factors when you get to this level of competition.
I think.
On the kicking team, 5 yards, previous spot, repeat kick.
You're going to re-kick it.
Is that what they're going to do?
Yep.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of hard to hear. Usually we can hear the announcers pretty well and the referee with our microphone here, but because it's so windy, I'm not sure if the crowd at home watching this football game on a tape delay basis is able to hear the officials on the field.
Yeah, it is very, very windy out there. They're going to have to do this again. Carlos, I don't think 5 yards is going to make any difference today with this wind. Now, if they got back to the 20, it might make a difference, but that wind is going to carry that football something else. I'm hearing a band going. I think it's the Maverick band that's making a lot of noise across the way. So this is what playoff football in the state of Texas, one of the premier states in the entire United States. So we're not looking at just some of the best teams in Texas. We're looking at maybe some of the best teams in the United States here as well.
Yeah, anytime you play Texas football and you play in the state of Texas and you're one of the top running backs in the state, you're right, Terry. You're one of the best in the country. Most definitely, it's the most, Florida, Texas, and California, the most recruited states.
Yeah.
That, they recruit out of those states all the time. Texas is definitely one of the tops. In fact, the University of Texas, they primarily recruit right out of Texas. It's very rare that they have people from other parts of the state or other parts of the country.
Yeah, that's for sure. And one of the top players in the Valley last year, Carlos, is here on hand to watch this game. I believe Bradley Stevens is in the crowd. And
yeah, he's here, and he was at a McCallum Memorial, one of the top rushers in the state last year. He redshirted at Texas A&M.
You know, we're not just the Weslaco Panthers anymore, Carlos. As it gets to this level, you represent the area you're from. The Rio Grande Valley is we almost become the Rio Grande Valley team. Well, this guy's going to take about a 20-yard drop here. This one is not very deep. Somebody's going to have to go get this ball. Picked up at about the 15, and actually less than a 20. I'm not sure who that was. It might have been Eric Hernandez.
The officials coming into this game also, Terry, they're out of Houston, so I guess we should let our viewers know that, John Separati, he is from Houston. He is the head referee, and so these guys will be in here taking control of this football game. So nobody from the Valley, nobody from San Antonio, I guess sort of a neutral group of guys from Houston.
Well, here we go. Dylan DeLeon is the quarterback. Rivas is in the slot. It's a slot offense. Hand off to the first man through. maybe up to the 20, 21-yard line. I believe that's Alex Tafoya, and he's going to pick up a couple of yards on the play.
And he picked up a couple of yards. Alex Tafoya, the senior running back, 5'9", 170 pounds. You know, if you're watching the Weslaco Panthers for the first time, Mishek is the big gun, but they spread the ball around in this offense.
Now Rebus is going to run out of an I formation this time. His first handoff, tries to get to the outside, cuts up against the grain, might have got to the 21, 22. And sometimes Mishek is a slow starter, Carlos, but once he gets going, and he's the kind of guy, I'm sure like Thomas would be for Madison, you give him one step and he can just take it the rest.
Well, you know, you take a look at this offensive line right here. They got their work cut out for them at this Madison defense. They do a pretty good job, but Weslaco has seen some tough defenses in San Benito, in Los Fresnos, in Donna.
Edward
and here
North.
Mishek looking for something to go to the outside. Nothing to the outside, tries to pop it in the middle, nothing there.
Here we come to the outside behind the blockers, trying to get to the outside. 25, cuts it up at the 30. 35 down the field and out of bounds at the 40. And there we go. He got to the outside. I was wondering about that. That's a key. If he can do that, it's going to be a long day for San Antonio Madison.
Daniel Lozano, your tight end, your running backs, and you know, even your corners, they're going to have to do a good job of doing some blocking down the field. And look at Mishek Rivas with his speed. Once he gets to the outside, that's when he is dangerous. First play, that is awesome. You got to get this crowd in the game and keep them in early.
Hand off to Guzman. And he's maybe got to the, I don't even know if he got to the line of scrimmage. Lost about one. So Eric Guzman with his first carry of the ball game. And for the Mavericks, number 48, Florida's the linebacker, and I understand he's one of the good ones on this team.
You want to get as many first downs as possible, and Guzman there with a little run up the middle, nothing doing. But, you know, so far the Weslaco Panthers got to feel good. One carry for Mishek, or two carries, I should say, and he already broke one to get a first.
All right, ball on the 41-yard line, second down and 10, no gain on that last play. DeLeon calling the signals. Fakes. Still faking. Got a man wide open down there. That's Rivas at the 30, 20. They're going to be a foot race. They're not going to get him. Touchdown, Weslaco. Mishek Rivas. That was a 59-yarder. And the Panthers are on the board. Go ahead.
Listen to this crowd. Look at Mishek Rivas pumped up and ready to go. And could they do it against the wind? Having to do this against a 35, 40-mile-per-hour wind. They used Mishek, or they used the running game as a decoy. Mishek was wide open with that 4.4 speed. Third in the state in 400. Yeah, he's got the speed wide open. The Panthers are on the board, baby.
This should be interesting, this extra point. I saw some in pregame that didn't even make it from this distance. And that one is floating, and it is good. 10:05, first quarter. Weslaco leading 7-0.
That was just a play right there, and you got to get into your playbook, and you got to do things just a little bit differently. As the Weslaco Panthers do that, yeah, they're going to try a little screen, then maybe a little fake to the back, freeze the linebackers, freeze the safety, and Mishek Rivas with that speed. Just throw it out there, Dylan, and he did. And Mishek Rivas just ran to that ball. Yeah, it's very, very windy out here. You can see the coaches as they're excited. That's one thing you want to do. San Antonio, what they want to do, Terry, shut down Mishek, shut down the Weslaco Panthers, and get this crowd out early. Instead, it's totally opposite. This crowd is into it, and they're going to need that 12th man in the stand to help this football team here tonight, because this is going to be a competitive game all the way.
Once again, they're showing the big board there, and when Rivas got behind the defender, as much as the defender was going after him, he just did not catch him. And Mishek turned on the speed. Remember, Mishek's running against the wind too, you know. And that wind is enough to where it might affect your running side. If you're out on the track, you know, going against the wind, you don't make that kind of time, but they did today. And Lugo, Carlos, is going to have to kick into this stuff. The deep men for Madison are up at the 20-yard line. To me, almost you want to go with a line drive and keep it underneath the wind. Boy, he caught that pass in stride, Carlos. A beautiful throw by Dylan DeLeon.
Awesome. Just that's what you want to do. You want to keep this team off balance. You want to keep the defense off balance. Keep them thinking, that we got a great running attack, averaging 490 yards per game. Number 2 offense in the state, primarily, running the ball, but we can pass the ball when we need to. Dylan DeLeon, the passing attack has always been there when it has needed to be.
No, it's been a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, Carlos, since he was injured. He seems to be getting back almost to full strength again. And when he is, remember, he's not only a great passer, but he can run the football as well. So that's a weapon that not many teams can have the ability to scout because they just don't see it. Well, here we go. Victor Lugo. And let's see what the Panther special teams can do here. Line drive into the middle of the field, picked up at about the 25-yard line. Coming wide up the middle. Oh, running room. The Panthers are going to have to get him up to the 48, 49-yard line. Good run back that time. But the Panthers knocked down the receiver. And the runner for San Antonio Madison, number 21, Mario Wiggins.
Yeah, Mario Wiggins, 188-pounder, and he got, big boy. That's one thing we're going to see today. Yeah, a little bit taller, a little bit stronger football players, but the Weslaco Panthers are going to have a bigger heart here this afternoon to make up for that size and speed they're going up against.
The quarterback, number 4, Brian Ehrlich, they do have a good passing game as they pulled a game out last week against Warren on almost the last play of the game. Man in motion coming to the near side, pitch out going wide. Panthers, they beat him to the corner. Let's see if Ponce can go get him. Nope, down the sideline the very first play. And, tripped up at about the 4-yard line. That was a run of about 48 yards or so from the 48 down to the 4.
That's number 22, I should say, Terry, Andrew Green. That's their third teamer. He came back from the defensive side of the ball to be their running back, and you can see that he's a pretty speedster there on that other side. So he can move down the field pretty quick for that guy, number 22. See him going down the field just at the last minute. We're able to make the stop.
Yeah, he got down to the 5-yard line. He got to the corner, and when he got to the corner, there was nobody out there except for Ponce, and he was able to outrun him. I formation, Ehrlich, the quarterback. He's got Green as the deep man in the eye. He hands off the ball into the middle of the field. He's going to be down near the end zone, but I think he got him at about the 1-yard line. So just a little up the middle dive, and boy, this drive went quick. But we've seen this before against the Panthers, Carlos. But my way of feeling is if they get into a shootout, I favor the Panthers on a shootout.
And every shootout that the Panthers have been in, they have won it. And there've been a lot of points that have been put up here in the postseason with Edinburgh and Mackay, but the Weslaco Panthers find a way to win.
All right, the second down and goal from the 2-yard line. Ehrlich looking around here. Hand off to Green again. They trip him up. Great defensive play down there by number 34, Alvarez. Marco Alvarez, number 34, came up and tripped him up. Now it's third down and goal, and actually they're back near the 3-yard line. So after that long opening play by Green, the Panthers have stiffened up a little bit here on a blustery Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, you don't want to go one-on-one against some of these 200-300-pounders on the other side. Use your quickness and speed to shoot the gaps, disrupt things in the backfield.
All right, here we go. Big play here. Third down and goal now from about the 3-yard line. Sent a man in motion, pitch out to Green, trying to get wide. He just trots into the end zone, and there's the touchdown for San Antonio Madison. So it didn't take them long. We played 3.5 minutes already. We've already got 2 touchdowns on the scoreboard.
Well, on the left-hand side or the right-hand side of that line over there, you got some pretty big boys for Madison, and doing some research on this football team, Terry. It sounds like a couple of guys on that offensive line will be playing some D1 ball, so they got some talent, I should say, on that offensive line as well.
All right, they're going to try the extra point here. Number 88, John Vivian. He's got a tremendous wind behind him and lots of time to throw, and then right up the middle he goes. And so 8:35 to go here in the first quarter. We're tied at 7 between San Antonio Madison and the Weslaco Panthers.
Pretty short drive there by Madison, the Mavericks. They come out here showing what they can do, and one of the things you got to do is you got to prepare yourself for that initial blow that you're going to get from those San Antonio teams. And so far, Weslaco, they struck first, so that's a very good thing. But once you get hit and once you start playing these big boys, they'll run up the score on you, or they'll start piling it on. But if you can, kind of take in that first blow and feel okay, kind of adjust. You got to adjust to the speed. Change your angles a little bit when you're running against these guys and do different things. They may be a little bit bigger, maybe a little bit stronger, but you just got to make those adjustments. That's what the Weslaco Panthers are going to have to do the next time they get on the field against the Mavericks.
Well, both their successful runs, Carlos, were pitch outs to the right side behind that line on a move, and they were both times they beat us to the corner. But I'm sure they're going to make adjustments on that as far as getting to the outside here. Remember last time the kicker, even though he could have probably put it out of the end zone, did a little pooch kick down at about the 10-yard line, and we only got up maybe to the 18. So we did have an 82-yard drive, but let's see where they go this time. I'm pretty sure by now, Carlos, they know who Meshach Rivas is. They've discovered him in a hurry.
Oh, the scouting has been done on Meshach Rivas, all week long. anyone who's read the paper in San Antonio, they've talked about Mishek. They know that he is the star of the Rio Grande Valley, and he's the one that they have to stop. And they know that he's going to be playing D1 football next year. He's got some looks. Different college teams are looking at him, so they know all about Rivas.
Hey, he's the real deal. There's no doubt about that. Here we go, the kickoff here. Kind of a line drive. Well, they're going to have to go get it here. Out of the play, it's going to be a touchback. Eric Hernandez, boy, just about knocked him over. That had some strength behind it, had the wind behind it, but the Panthers are going to take over at the 20-yard line. They'll have it first down and 10, and here we go again.
Shows you just how powerful that wind is and blowing strong and has not slowed down at all. The balls are going to be coming hard. They're going to be coming fast and furious at you. On the kickoffs and the punts are going to be pretty high. And, will it play a factor in this football game? We'll have to see.
If the Panthers can avoid a punt on the first and third quarters, that would make a big difference because it is definitely into the wind. Oh, fumble. Dylan DeLeon picked it up. I don't know if he got ahead of himself there, but there was a little trouble on the snap that time. And that's going to cost him a yard, but it's also going to cost him a down here. So it's going to bring up second down and 11 from the 19-yard line. So
it looked like it was just a little bobble.
Yep.
The exchange between De Leon and the center just never got a hold of the football, and good thing it bounced right back in his hands.
Eric Hernandez and Rene Thomas bringing the play in from the sideline for the Panthers. Thomas a wide receiver, Hernandez in the backfield. And all of a sudden, the Panthers want a timeout. Somebody went in the wrong position because Tony Villarreal immediately called a timeout. He wants them all on the same page every play, the entire game.
Yeah, every possession is going to be important for the Weslaco Panthers and for the Panthers because you don't want to like you said, you don't want to punt in this wind right now and give Madison good field position. So try to get some first downs on this drive. Of course you want to put points on the board, but first downs are going to be definitely critical.
Yeah, they are. And we were talking about high scoring. Think about some of the games that we've had this year, Carlos. We had a 69-45 game against Brownsville Lopez, 62-49 in a playoff game against Edinburgh North, and 40-38 last week. So the Panthers have been, as you mentioned, in some pretty major shootouts this year already. Well, here we go. It is second down and about 11. Teams are back on the field. The crowd is making a lot of noise. And let's see what goes on here. Dylan DeLeon with Rivas behind him. Hand off to Rivas behind some blocker. No, he's got the ball and passing out to Hernandez. Whoa, hammered out of bounds at the 27-yard line, but a pickup of about 8. It's going to bring up third down and about 2. Pick me out on that play. I thought Rivas got the hand up, but it was a pass.
Just some great play calling so far by the Panther staff and what they're doing, just keeping the Mavericks off balanced. And you expect to see a lot of running, but so far some of the biggest plays have come via the passing game.
Well, and they haven't been able to scout it because maybe Villarreal might have done this on purpose, not throwing the ball, not to show him anything. Now all of a sudden he brings the passing game out. Hand off to Rivas, trying to get wide. 25. There's a penalty marker though in the middle of the field, and I don't know if this one is coming back. Whoa, they throw him out of bounds hard down at the end of the play, and I don't see anything called down there. But there's a penalty marker, and where it was thrown, this one might be offensive holding. We'll wait and see though.
We'll check out the replay anyway, and one of the things that Mishek Rivas has that you can't teach is just some really nice moves. It looked like he was going to cut to the inside, but instead, as they do get a holding call, he looked like he was going to cut to the inside. He took that little fake, bounced to the outside, and he did it so quick. That's why he was able to get around the corner. But the holding play, the holding penalty will bring the call back, the run back.
Well, as good and athletic as Madison is, I think Rivas can hold his own with this team. I really do. On the few plays I've seen, like I said, the penalty hurt him, but if he gets out there, he can put 20 yards, 25, 30 yards on the board like he's done the entire season.
Against the Panthers.
First penalty of the game for the Weslaco Panthers.
Third down at about 12 back at the 18-yard line. Big play here for Weslaco. Handoff up the middle. Rivas is stopped, and he's not going to get anything. Might have lost a yard. That's going to bring up fourth down, and now Mishek is going to have to punt the football, and he's going to be back near the goal line. And remember, he's punting into the wind, Carlos, but the snapper is punting with the wind, and let's hope that he keeps it down about waist high.
Coming out of the game, the Mavericks, they lose one of their players, their defensive end, Michael Williams, a 209-pound senior for that football team, and I saw him there trying to make the tackle on Mishek. He bumped one of his own players at the same time, and he went off holding his shoulder, so that could be a major development in this football game. And there's a flag.
Well, there's a flag, and I'm not sure. what this was for. They might have too many players on the field. I'm looking down, and I'm not sure what this is all about. But
I think I saw the signal look like illegal substitution. Mavericks.
Could be, yeah, it could be. And they've called timeout, maybe to avoid. They might have called it.
Substitution infraction on the defense, 5 yards, still 4th down.
Of course, that penalty is not going to hurt them as much as that holding penalty cost us, because it cost us the first down. But if our defense can stop them, Carlos, I think we're going to be okay.
Yeah, and they don't have to stop on every play.
No,
you know, all they have to do is just make a couple of stops here and there, and that's what they have done throughout most of the season. They made the stops when they needed to.
All right, here we go. Rivas, who hardly had a kick in the last game against McAllen. I don't even know if he did kick against McAllen, but tonight he's going into a pretty major win. They don't even have anybody back. They've got all 11 people up near the line. And they're coming. Whoa, partially blocked into the wind. And the ball is going to be at about the 28-yard line.
Well, not only that, Terry, but Mishak Rivas went down. He is okay, but when they blocked that, Mishak went for a little flip, not a little flip, but he did go down kind of hard on this turf, but he comes right back up and he's all right, it looks like.
Of course, now if they don't block the ball, then that's a penalty. But the fact that they touch the football, that kind of takes away the penalty. Now Madison is going to be in tremendous field position. They're going to have it 1st and 10 at the Panther 29-yard line. And what you got to look out for now is look for Green on that pitch out going to the right side. Although they line up strong to the left, Ehrlich, the quarterback, he's got a couple of receivers out on the right side. Hand off to Green, cutting back against the grain.
Well, there you go.
And he might have got 2 or 3 yards. And Danny Torres, who had a tremendous game against McAllen, one of the tacklers, and along on the play with number 64 for Weslaco. And 64 is Julio Martinez. He got about 2 on the play, 2nd down and about 8. Ball on about the 26-yard line here. This time Ehrlich is going to work out of a shotgun with the receivers on the right and the left. Green in the backfield with him. Drop, straight back. They got a wide open receiver at the 28-yard line.
That's a block in the back.
Oh, and I don't see a penalty marker, do you?
Sorry about that,
Well, I agree with you, but
got a little excited on that play, but yeah, you'll see the play develop right in front of you, and it looks like it was, Marco Alvarez, who was blocked right in the back, and he was going in for the tackle. He goes down. There's the block in the back right in front of your screen, right there, and the officials from Houston don't make the call at all. That's a block in the back all the way.
Ball on the just inside the 25, 3rd down and about 1 or 2 yards to go. Remember, if they get stopped, the wind is with them, and anybody kicking a field goal in that direction is going to have a tremendous advantage. But let's see what happens here. 3rd down and about 1, handoff to Green. He's got the first down, tripped up inside the 20 at about the 17, but he's going to have the first down, and they're going to move the chains.
Well, this Green guy, a big guy, right? You talk about some size on a football player. Number 22, Andrew Green, comes in near 181 pounds. He's only a junior, Terry, and he looks like he's about 6'2", football player. It looks like he'd be playing linebacker, playing running back, big strides, big, tall, lanky guy, and so far they've held him in check in this drive.
All right, here we go. Now out of a shotgun, which might indicate a pass. Ehrlich back there with one runner behind him. Over the middle, they got a receiver at the 10. And breaking tackles, touchdown, Madison. Broke a couple of tackles and took it in from about the 10-yard line. And Madison, which was behind just a few minutes ago. But Carlos, the big play in this whole drive was that punt being partially blocked, which gave him the field position at the 29-yard line.
Well, that's Nate Askew, and you talk about some size on that football team. He's one of the bigger guys on that team. We don't have we take a look at the roster. I don't see them I don't see anything that, talks about their height, but he's a big, tall guy, about 100, maybe 200-pound guy.
And the extra point attempt is just barely through the uprights. And 5:11 to go in the first quarter. The Mavericks are now ahead of the Panthers 14-7 as they go to the passing game and pick up the go-ahead touchdown.
Yeah, there you see Nate Askew right there. The key to that play right there was he makes the catch, and then he just breaks a couple of tackles, and when you're that much bigger than your opponent, you can do that. He's a big-time receiver. He had a good game last week when they played against Warren, and this is an offense that's averaging about 36 points per game. They were averaging a lot more than that before Devin Thomas went down, but they scored a couple of touchdowns here early on in the game, Terry.
Well, let's see how this is going to work here. They got Eric Hernandez on one side, Mishak Rivas on the other. But I'm pretty sure when they go on the field, they know where Meshach Rivas is located. That's why they had at one point they had him in the middle of the field.
That was a 5-play drive. The drive started at the 29-yard line. Yeah, the blocked kick by the Weslaco Panthers. The holding, I think, was probably the biggest play, the biggest thing on that particular
Series,
drive that Weslaco had. That holding on third down really hurt them. If not, Weslaco is still on the field. Meshach gets the first down, and they're in business. So that holding penalty, which was a big penalty, probably that one and the block punt, the two biggest plays of that couple of series.
Well, the Weslaco fans are in it, and they know they're just one Meshach run away from a tie ball game, and we've been in this position before, so it's nothing new. And what I've seen, like I said, that last drive, we really stopped ourselves. Rivas actually had a first down. I was kind of surprised when he was knocked down out of bounds that there might not have been a penalty tacked on to the end of that thing. This time they go to the high, deep one, back in the middle of the end zone. Well, Thomas did a very wise thing there. He knelt down. The Panthers are going to get the ball in the 20 because he who hesitates sometimes is lost on that kind of a play. But Thomas did the smart thing. They're going to bring it out to the 20. But remember, look at the field position, Carlos. The Mavericks have had the ball on their own, near the 50 after the first return of a kick, and then on the 29. So they've had tremendous field position both times they've touched the football. Rivas in the slot. In fact, nobody behind Dylan De Leon. Now he's in Del Toro in motion. He hands off the ball, and he breaks a tackle. He gets up the field, and he gets near the 20. He might have got near the line of scrimmage, Armando Del Toro, but boy, I'll tell you, that could have been a lot worse than what it was.
Yeah, he lost a couple of yards, lost about a yard on that play, but Del Toro did a good job right here. They got into the backfield quickly, and what does Del Toro do? He breaks the tackle and almost got back to the original line of scrimmage, so a good, strong move. It could have been a lot worse than it was.
Actually, he lost about one on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd down and 11. Del Toro in motion again. Rivas going the other way. Behind his blockers, cuts to the outside. He's up near the, about the 25 or 26-yard line. Good little run that time. Meshach Rivas about 7 yards.
And that's all you really want. Everyone expects Meshach Rivas when he gets the ball to break the 20-yarder or more. But, this is all you kind of need. Get this football, give it to Meshach, and get your blocking down the field. He breaks a little bit of a tackle right there, picks up a good 7 yards, and now they're in business here on 3rd down. They can do something with it.
3rd down and 4, and Tafoya is in the game along with Guzman. Sanchez and Del Toro come out of the lineup. 3rd down and about 4 yards to go. Rivas behind some blockers, and he's not going to get the first down. They're going to bring him back at about the 25 or 24. They were all over him that time. That time they broke down the blocking of the Panthers and were able to stop Meshach Rivas.
It looks like he had a convoy out there waiting for him, but you talk about some speed. When you talk about San Antonio, any team, whether it's Converse, Judson, Madison, Warren, I don't care who you're playing, they're going to bring a lot of speed, and they did on that play right there. Purple jerseys out in front, but the white jerseys with their speed and quickness able to get through the blocking and make the tackle.
Well, that's 3 plays and out for the Panthers that time. It's going to bring up 4th down and about 5 from the 25-yard line. And the last time, they brought the entire group with them. They're going to put one guy kind of back this time, but remember, they partially blocked it, and now Rivas, I think, is going to call a timeout here. Yep, it's exactly what he's going to do. And so our 2nd timeout of the first half, 3:08 to go in the first quarter. It is San Antonio Madison 14, Weslaco 7. Well, here we go. 4th down and about 5 yards to go, Carlos. Both teams coming back onto the field. And Rivas, who called a timeout before that punt. And once again, they've got all 11 guys within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage this time. So you know they're going to come after the punt. Maybe that's something they scouted, we don't know. But here we go. Good snap back. This time Rivas gets a kick, and oh man, that thing didn't even go 10 yards. And Actually, it went 11 yards, Carlos, and the wind just killed it. Killed it.
Well, you know, 40-mile-per-hour winds, 35-40. It's
9
tough.
yards.
It's tough to punt against this wind, and Madison's going to have to do it here. We'll see what type of punter they have here. Got 3 minutes still in the first quarter, so it's just one of those scenes where you got to play in the elements, whether it rain, snow.
Yeah.
Not a lot of snow down here, but certainly wind.
Well, 3 minutes to go, and once again, they've got that was a 9-yard punt, and he actually hit. He didn't block it. The wind just killed it. Out of a shotgun this time. Trip receivers to the left side. Ehrlich looking that way. Still looking over the middle of the field. He's got a man wide open at the 15, and down he goes. But their passing game now starting to go after the Panthers.
Well, Ehrlich had his receiver pretty much open right there in the middle of the field, and you got to come up and make that tackle. So, what else can you do? But he's wide open. He makes the tackle right there, and that is Adrian Gonzalez. Bring him down. Don't let him break the big one. We talked about bend, don't break defense, and it bent a little bit right there, but at least we're able to make the tackle.
That was a 19-yard pickup by Ehrlich, and he had lots of time to throw. Now he's going to work under center. He's got one running back behind him. That's Green. Hand off to Green, trying to get wide. He is wide at the 10. Cuts in. He's going to be near the end zone. I think he was about a yard short. And the Mavericks offensively, now, in the defense of the Panthers, the Mavericks just haven't had to go very far. I mean, it is tough to keep a team down when you've only got to go 30, 35 yards. So let's see how they react when they get longer field position.
Well, yeah, so far the wind has been the biggest factor in the game. Has the Mavericks even had they had the ball over here around the 25-30, their first possession?
Well, they ran the kickoff back after a touchdown back to the 48-yard line. So the farthest they've had to go is 48 yards. Here we go, first down and goal to go from about the 1 or 2 yard line. Scoreboard says the 1. Ehrlich, and he made it easily on the quarterback sneak. And the Mavericks are starting to put some points on the board, but like I said, they've got the wind with them. Let's see what happens when the wind turns around.
3-play drive, passing a little, they balanced it out a little bit more, passing on first down, then a couple of the runs before they get into the end zone to put up 20 points now, the Mavericks here at Bobby Lackey.
And the extra point attempt coming up by Vivian. And he's got lots of distance on this one. It's up and good. 2:25 to go in the first quarter. The Mavericks have touched the ball 3 times. They've got 3 touchdowns on the board. And as Carlos mentioned, the number one key here today is the wind. We've had one punt that was partially blocked. We had another one that was 9 yards, and it's tough to operate in conditions like that. But the quarter is going to change here in 2:25, and it's going to go the other way around, and we'll see what happens. And the Mavericks Carlos better know that we can put points on the board in a hurry too.
Comes into our house and pushes us around.
A little Rudy on the scoreboard here.
I got some Rudy on there. I think that's Coach Devine from Notre Dame talking to his players. And one of the quotes is, no one comes in here and pushes us around in our house. And now it's the Weslaco Panthers' time to step it up now. Offensively, they got to put some points on the board. And if it's a shootout, I like Weslaco chances.
Yes,
I like
do.
the chances for the Weslaco Panthers. And I don't think anyone here feels that this game is over by no stretch of the imagination because of that high-powered offense Weslaco has.
Yeah, like I said, if it's a low-scoring game, which I don't think it's going to be at this point, but you never know. We've got great weather. Remember a week ago when we covered the game between McAllen and Weslaco, it was about 40 to 45 degrees and raining. It was miserable out there. Today we've got to deal with a little bit of wind, but the temperature is beautiful. It's a great Saturday afternoon in the Rio Grande Valley.
Yeah, and now the crowd's starting to stand up here and encourage this football team. They're getting a little fired up here, and they know they need some encouragement, so they're doing that now. Here's
the kick, high kick. This one is going to be another one just out of the field of play, and this is going to be the same way. Victor Lugo for the Panthers, Carlos, he can knock it out of the back of the end zone as well if he's got the wind behind him. But what we need right now is we need some first downs and get a drive going, give our defense a little bit of a chance, and if you do have to kick it, be on the other side of the 50-yard line when you do kick it. So here we go, 1st and 10 from the 20. Panthers have had the ball 3 times. They've scored 1 touchdown. The other 2 times have had to punt, and that's been difficult. and no fault of their own. It's just the Mother Nature is a tough opponent. Guzman in motion. Rivas with the football, and before everything gets going, it's going to cost them 5 yards. I think it's going to be illegal procedure, and boy, right now, Carlos, it's tough when you go backwards.
Yeah, you don't want to give the Mavericks there any more opportunities to put us back. You know, they've already stopped. They show that they can stop this wing T offense, and now with the penalties, that's not going to help.
Well, this team is not rated number 6 in the state of Texas for no reason. They're there because they're a very good team. Rivas out of the backfield, I formation, first down and 50. Handoff, and Guzman gets next to nothing, maybe a yard at most. Actually, it was Alex Tafoya, my bad. Tafoya with the ball. And the ball is at the 14, actually lost a yard on the play. Now it is second down and 14. Carlos, and I believe that wind is getting stronger down there.
Well, that's one of the things. You just got to kind of ignore the wind and just try to play football. And I know it plays a factor when you're punting and you're passing against it, but when you're running the football, just ignore it and just go out there and just play tough football.
Yeah, you gotta sustain your blocks a little bit longer. Rivas in motion, cuts back against the grain, and he gets up to about the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. It's going to bring up third down, and nice little gain up the middle by Mishak.
That's what you want to see. Just get some momentum up there. Get some surge by that offensive line. You see a lot of white jerseys at that line of scrimmage, but Mishak able to pinpoint his way through and try to find some type of crease, something open. And with his quickness and with his speed, he can make the Mavericks. He can get some yards on these guys.
Well, not only that, Carlos, a big thing coming up here is if the Panthers can hold on and get the first down here, that clock is going to go down to 0, and they're going to turn around and get to go the other way with it. Fake. Dylan DeLeon, he's got a receiver out here. Flips it up the field to Hernandez. Hernandez is going to be dragged down at about the 27 or 28-yard line. Nice catch that time by Eric Hernandez, but it's going to bring up fourth down and short, and we're down to 52 seconds. And really, if we get, if we get that clock going.
They call the timeout.
Yeah, I don't blame them. That's good play by,
the Mavericks, smart call right there. Coach Streetley, I believe is his name, and calling the timeout because he wants the Panthers to punt against the wind once again.
And there's no guarantee the Panthers are going to punt. You're down 21-7.
Yeah, anything could happen.
And the best running back in the valley is punting the football. He might just decide, I've only got to pick up 4 yards. I might be able to make that. And like I said, Carlos, if we can get the first down here, if that's what they call. Remember, we turn around now, all of a sudden that big wind that's out there is with us for at least a quarter. So let's see how it works. But that was a smart move by the coach, because he knows as well as anybody that wind has been the #1 factor so far in this football game.
Absolutely. They were able to, that first drive, able to pass against this wind and not too much damage there, but the punting. Punting, usually punt high. It's very hard to punt, a line drive. Kicking is a little bit easier, but punting is difficult. So you're going to punt it high, this wind's going to carry it back.
Well, not only that, it's kind of like when you're kicking into the wind, the force of the wind is going to force the ball up. That's why on an aircraft carrier, they're always facing.
They're going for it.
All right, here we go. Who's got the football?
Mishak.
And I don't think he made it.
They should give him the forward progress. He gets to the 31. That's a first down.
Well, let's see where the referee lines up. I see a referee might have got it.
You got it, Terry, and you got to give him the forward progress most definitely, because he got beyond.
He got it.
That's
big play.
Huge play right there on this drive. And the timeout backfired on Coach Streetley, because Coach Villalobos had a little chance to think about it. He said, you know what, let me go ahead and go for it right here. Why punt the ball against the wind? Let's go for it. Give it to Mishak and see what we can do.
Well, in about another play or so, Carlos, we're going to turn around and go the other way here. Big call coming up here. Long signal count. Hand off to, that's Tafoya. Tafoya up to about the 34, picked up about 3 yards on the play.
And that's what you want, some positive forward progress. A little bit of that surge. You always talk about the surge of that offensive line in that time. Not a lot of white jerseys in the backfield, as Tafoya able to pick up a good 4 yards on the play.
Well, they're going to let the clock run down, that's for sure. We're down to 5 seconds to go. That's going to do it. The first quarter is in the books. It's the Mavericks 21, the Panthers 7.
Last year, I knew I wanted to go to college, but didn't know how to pay for it. I was worried, but then my Gear Up counselor told me that the government could help me pay for college. You see, every year the government gives students like me money to pay for college. And to get that money, there was only one form to fill out. That form is the FAFSA. January 1st is when I can fill out my FAFSA for next year. And you know I'm going to take that one step to ensure my college career stays on track.
Well, Carlos, here we go. Ball on about, where are we at? The 34, 35-yard line. Get this set up. But all of a sudden now, Dylan DeLeon, with that good arm he's got, and if he can get a guy like Mishek Rivas, and, you know, it's kind of like coming around the bend in a track meet. All of a sudden, that wind, you're wind-aided now. It might make him just a little bit faster.
Yeah, and now you're going to have to change things up if you're Madison. You know, what do you
Yep.
do defensively? You just can't play the run. Although that's what they're doing with almost everybody in the box right there. The pass is an option.
Rivas in motion. Nope, they're going to pass. Dylan DeLeon still scrambling. He's got a man in the middle of the field. Big Daniel Lozano at the 50-yard line. Boy, he's a hoss. But I think he was down. I think he was down. Yep, the referee coming into late in the play said the ball is down. His knee was down before the ball popped out, but there's Big Daniel.
And there's someone there who can catch the football, and also a big boy for the Weslaco Panthers in Daniel Lozano, who is 6'1", 230 pounds. And, you know, did De Leon want to go deep? Maybe, but he found Lozano wide open in the field. Big target, big catch.
49-yard line, 1st and 10. This time De Leon is out of a shotgun. Trip receivers to the near side. And all of a sudden now it gets different, and all of a sudden they want a timeout.
Yeah.
We've seen this before, Carlos. Remember, we can run that hurry up as good as anybody.
I go back to the 7-on-7 in the summer with Dylan DeLeon and Mishek Rivas and these other big boys playing 7-on-7. You know, they play against tough competition across the valley and tough competition across the state. They go up to College Station, Terry. They play in this big state tournament, and they get to see these guys. So they have the speed, and they go out there. And now, if you're Coach Vidal, you have that option. Do I need to go to the passing game? I got the win. I trust my quarterback. He played summer 7-on-7, so they can go to that wide open offense and pass a little bit more. And what is that going to do? That's going to open up your running game.
And really, you know what's going to come down to? Who wins the quarter going north and south? You know what I mean? Obviously, the ball going from south to north with that wind behind him is going to be a tremendous advantage for whoever has the ball that quarter. So here we go. The Panthers have it 1st and 10 at the 49. The Panthers in a sea of purple down below us here
5
are
receivers.
ready to go.
Mishek's out there too as a receiver.
Oh, yeah. Dylan DeLeon by himself back there. Obvious passing situation. Gets the snap, rolls to his left, still rolling. Now he's in there, some pressure, big block put on, still looking around. And, knocked out of bounds over there. He lost maybe a couple, 3 yards on a play, but you got to give the secondary of San Antonio Madison a lot of credit on that because he just didn't have anybody to throw to.
Well, it'll go down as a sack, but, you know, De Leon trying to go downfield, trying to find someone, but a lot of white jerseys in the backfield, so the coverage was there. They came out of the passing formation, and Madison able to blanket their wide receivers, so De Leon says, you know what, trying to make something happen, but I don't want a turnover, so he goes out of bounds, and I guess they call it a sack.
Well, the Panthers are going to call their last time out of the first half, and we're just underway in the second quarter. But, Carlos, we have not – normally we're a very good first down team. Today we've struggled a little bit on first down and have had to kind of rally a little bit, but Dylan showed a little bit of mobility. Remember, when he got hurt the following week, he could hardly move around. Now all of a sudden, he's got the mobility to break the tackles and use his speed a little.
Right, and that's another weapon that the Panthers have. And I've always talked about Dylan, you know, being one of the fastest guys on this football team, right behind Mishek. So, you know, when he gets out in the open field, he too can do something.
All right, let's see what we got here. The ball is on the 47-yard line in Panther territory. Coach Villarreal is he is really getting vocal with the official on there. But that's the last timeout for the Panthers in this half. Dylan DeLeon, once again, has got his 5 receivers.
Madison playing a lot. Now they're playing the pass formation, so it's not stacked up as much. Maybe some running opportunities here for the Panthers if they can run out of this formation, though.
Now he comes under center with Rivas in motion. Hands off the ball, breaks a tackle, tries to get to the outside. Still going, cuts up at the 45. He might get to the 50. He's going to be near the original line of scrimmage. And I'll tell you what, the speed of the linebackers on Madison kept him in. But
still, you see, you know, Mishek with the speed, there. But look at some good little moves here. Going up against some tough competition, he's able to get behind this linebacker, I guess that was right there, and pick up a few yards, but he needed a lot more as they needed to get to about the 40-yard line for a first.
Well, there's a penalty marker on the play. I'm not sure. Holding.
Holding on the offense. Decline. Third down.
That's going to bring up third down and about 10 yards to go. Actually, about third and 11 here. So they decline a holding penalty. That's 2 holding penalties on the Panthers so far in the football game, but that was a nice effort by Meshach Rivas on that particular play. So here we go, big third down play. Rivas with the football, trying to get wide. He's got Severin around there. Now he's going to turn around, come back the other way, and he's down about the 41-yard line. And I don't know what happened there, Carlos. He lost his helmet, but usually he can cut on a dime.
Well, you got a couple of big boys on that corner, and you're trying to get around the corner, but nothing doing for Rivas. He had, I think you said Severin was out there to block, but once again, the speed of Madison is there, and that is pretty difficult to get around. Speed on speed, and 2 guys against 1. It was a tough play there for
Yeah, he had to turn around, and like I said, normally he can make that cut, but Severin was kind of out there on an island there by himself, and all you saw were white jerseys. Now Meshach, the line of scrimmage, the 41. This time Madison has got 2 guys deep because all of a sudden now Meshach has got a pretty good wind behind him here. Good snapback. And a pretty decent kick back down to about the 18-yard line, picked up there, I believe, by Green. And they're going to try to chase him. He's just all over the place. And, another push in the back. This time, Carlos, they call it. It's not going to matter. He might take it, but and the Panther is hurt on the play. I'm not sure if that's 53 or 63, but he got hammered in the back. That's number 63 for the Weslaco Panthers, and that is Fernando Fuentes, and he really took a hit. This time they actually pulled the yellow hanky out, and all of a sudden now Madison is going to have to go the length of the field against the wind. And now is the time, Carlos, where that Panther defense has got to step up and say, enough is enough.
Yeah, and now we'll see what type of offense they have, and come out there. Ehrlich, the offensive guru, I'm not guru, I should say, but quarterback of that team. See what they could do against the wind.
On the return game.
The ball's going to be back at about the 7 or 8 yard line. They're going to probably half the distance to the goal line, but that was a very obvious call as the returner, Green, was in a lot of trouble. He was going this way and that way, but now they've got the ball on the 7 yard line, and let's see if the Panthers can put a stop on him here. Remember, they've got to throw into the wind. I wouldn't be surprised if they run the ball in our direction to their right, because that's where they were successful in the first quarter. Ehrlich under center. Nope. Hand off to the inside man, and he's going. And he's breaking tackles. Now it's a foot race. And Espinosa drags him down at the 38-yard line, but it looked like he might have taken it all the way.
Yeah, and it wasn't Green. It was the big fullback there for the Mavericks. Number 33, rumbling down the field. Eddie Pitts, the running back. A big boy, Terry, 199 pounds, almost a 200-pound back for them. But the tackle at the very end there, and
Espinosa
what a big play right there for the Mavericks.
Yep, yeah, all the way from the 7 yard line to the 39. That's 54 yards in that particular play, and that gets them out of trouble. They were down in the 7, and now the wind is probably not going to be much of a factor. An I formation this time. Hand off to Green, trying to get wide, cuts up against the grain, breaks a tackle. Ponce in pursuit, and he broke that tackle, but he got him out of bounds at about the 24-yard line. Right now, the Panthers are going to have to secure the tackles and bring these boys down.
You know, Green, they were out of back, so Green comes in, the senior. He's a 3-year letterman, 6'1", 175 pounds, and he was a starting cornerback coming into this game. But during the playoffs, he had to come in. He has 194 yards rushing on 32 carries against San Marcos, and then he had 43 yards on 19 carries against Warren last week in the area round. That game took place up at the Alamo Dome.
All right, that time they ran to the left. They've run both ways as far as their running is concerned. 1st and 10 from the 24, inside handoff, and the Panthers are going to bring them down, but not before the ball carrier gets about 5 on the play, just straight up the middle. Matthew Madrigal in on the tackle. Number 42, James Silva, was the running back for the Mavericks. He gets it down. Let's see where they mark it. At the 20, he picked up about 4 on the play, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 6 as we're down to about 8.5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Ehrlich leads him out. He's a senior. Set a man in motion. Pitch out. Coming wide is Green. right there, and a penalty marker into the middle, but Adrian Gonzalez with a nice defensive play, Carlos, but the penalty marker, I don't know if they're going to refuse a penalty or take it. But it would bring up third if they refuse the penalty. Because that was about a 4 or 5 yard loss in the play?
We'll have to check the flag right here, but that was just an awesome play there by the Weslaco Panthers, and you know, that's what you want to do. Gonzalez gets into the backfield, and he saw the big running back coming right at him, but he makes the tackle and even gets into his face a little bit right there, showing that, hey, man, you want to play some football, we're ready to play.
Yep.
Offense, block below the waist, 15 yards.
Oh, no wonder. Yeah, now I can understand why you take the penalty now. That's a 15-yarder. Oh, that was a big one. That could potentially be a drive stopper there. Remember, they're not going to kick a field goal now, Carlos, because there's no way they could kick a 45-yard field goal into this win.
And look who's leading the cheers down there. Yep. It's Gonzalez who just made that awesome tackle, and he gets his crowd fired up.
Oh yeah, Panther fans are ready for this one. Ball on the 35-yard line, second down and long. This time out of an I formation. Ehrlich fakes, he rolls to the right. Here comes Danny Torres. They got a receiver out of bounds at about the 28-yard line. That's that big running back, Carlos, number 33, Eddie Pitts. But he didn't even get it back to the original line of scrimmage, and now it's third down, and they have to go all the way to the 14. It's third down and 14.
Their leading receiver is Josh Miles, 12 catches for 270 yards, 4 touchdowns. Their leading catcher is Joey Boyd, 27 catches for 519 yards, and we haven't really seen much of him.
And that's not a lot of catches for an entire year, though.
Yeah, they ran the ball a lot. They're a little bit more balanced since their number one running back went down.
Here's big play, third down and 14. Ehrlich sends a man in motion. Fakes a handoff. Here's a reverse. The Panthers waiting for him and down. Oh, he slips a tackle, but they get him anyway at the 24-yard line. He slipped the tackle, but there was enough people there. Madrigal had him. Jacob Garza had him. Now it's fourth down, and they almost have to go for it. They're not going to kick a field goal. They're too close in for a punt. So, no, here's a big play for the defense.
Well, if he goes to the outside, he might have something, but Madrigal did a great job of forcing him back in, and then he makes the catch and gets a little bit of help from that purple defense. So, yeah, he gets to the outside. Madrigal says, he contains the man, keeps him in, and they make the tackle.
Well, this would be a huge stop for Weslaco if they can do it here. Fourth down and 11. They've got to go to the 14-yard line. Out of a shotgun this time is Ehrlich. He's had a lot of time to pass today. Straight drop back. Still looking in the middle. He's got a man wide open. Touchdown. Wow, they found a receiver cutting into the middle. He's getting all kinds of time, and another 6 points on the board for the Madison Mavericks. Thought we had him stopped, but boy, I'll tell you, if you look at the replay, the receiver got a crossing pattern, and he was wide open.
Well, Ehrlich came into this game, Brian Ehrlich, he passed for 1,292 yards this season. Last week versus Warren, he passed for 308 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they have the ability to pass the ball if they need to.
Well, they sure did. That was huge. Fourth down play. The extra point attempt is up and good, and it's 28-7. I don't think the Panthers really expected this, but you got to give the Mavericks credit. On fourth down and 11, I thought the Panthers were going to hold them there, but a crossing pattern, a 24-yard touchdown, and the Mavericks have extended the lead now to 28-7.
Yeah, the Mavericks, they did a good job of that offensive line holding up the Panthers, and they gave Ehrlich plenty of time to find the open receiver, and he was able to look at, 2, 3, all his receivers, and finally he found the one he wanted right up the middle.
Well, here we go. Now, depending on where they kick the football, Carlos, he's not going to put the ball in the end zone this time. So let's see if the Panthers have any kind of a running game on their special teams here.
Well, the kicker, he kicked the ball actually pretty well.
Yeah, he did.
On the field goal. He went definitely through the uprights and out into the end zone pretty deep. So he shows that he can kick, but it's still not going to be into the end zone like he was doing earlier.
No, he's got to kick at 60 yards now. And actually, the extra point attempt was kind of a floater that kind of went that way. But you're right, it did get up and through. But
and does Mishak and do the return guys, they try to make something happen? Usually when you're down 28-7, you try to make something happen, get something going. And if Mishak gets an opportunity to return this ball, or maybe the reverse, Terry, they did that against Mercedes, where they're trying to get something going. They do a reverse to Mishak, and he scores a touchdown. Remember that play?
Yep. This might be the farthest they've been down all year. I remember Donna had them down 20-0 at one point, but 28-7, it's going to make it tough because the Mavericks right now have their offense cooking up. But let's see what our offense can do here. We can score anytime, anywhere. Oh, there's a short kick, a fair catch. Oh, one of their pairs caught
fair
it.
Catch.
Yeah.
They call it a fair catch. You got to give him an opportunity to make the catch.
Yeah, he called a fair catch. You got to let him try to catch it. But boy, I tell you, that's a great athletic move by one of the Madison Mavericks. But the penalty marker came in there.
He just ran over the he just ran over the Panther guys.
Yep.
I mean, you got to give them an opportunity to make that catch, and that's why you put a fair catch out there so you won't get hit, and you can catch the ball first without that threat of him coming at him.
But look at this! Look at that wind. That was a tremendous impact on that play, and we might be doing this over again because the Panthers know that they can't kick the ball very far. I think they're gonna. Well, they.
Kick catch interference on the cover team. 15-yard spot of the foul.
Oh,
First down.
15 yards. We're going to take the ball at the 50-yard line. And now we need something. Now, Carlos, we're at the point right now we need to score. Guzman is a receiver to the far side. Dylan DeLeon, the quarterback. Hand off to Rivas. Spins. He's still spinning. He might have got 2 or 3 on the play. Now, right now is the time where Meshach Rivas has to say, okay, I'm going to break one. I'm going to break one.
This is also one of those, you're up 28-7. If you're the Mavericks, it's a natural tendency to kind of let up a little bit. And the Panthers, they can't let up at all. They got to keep attacking these guys and try to catch them asleep a little bit.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Second down and about 7 or 8 yards to go. Rivas again. Fake the handoff. Dylan DeLeon still running. Now he throws the ball out of bounds. Looked like it was for Guzman, but
he was trying to get the ball to Foya, and the double coverage is trying to get it out there and make something happen. Had to get rid of it because he was under pressure again.
What about if they go back to that touchdown pass to Rivas? And remember that worked very well. He had a receiver beat by 5 or 6 yards, but here we go again. 3rd down and 7 or 8 yards to go, and once again. We are put into a passing situation, but almost at this point, Carlos, it's almost a 4-down territory because you're down 28-7. You got nothing to lose. There is no one tomorrow. Use up a few of the cliches we got here. The freshman, John Rojas, in the slot. Fakes. Dylan DeLeon got a man in the middle, wide open, and Rojas, the freshman, he had to play D-back and did a decent job of it. Well, let's see if they're going to punt. I don't think they really are.
No, there's no reason.
Yeah, no.
Like you said, it's 28-0. Here's the pass by Dylan trying to get it out there to Rojas and double coverage, and it bounced around. It looked like maybe he had an opportunity. He was looking for the ball, just didn't bounce his way.
Well, they bring the punt team in. Dylan DeLeon is out of the ball game, so they've actually brought the punt team in here. Remember the last time Rivas, they got it down to the 7-yard line. So, but there's no guarantee, like I said, that he's going to punt the football. He's the top rusher around here. He might just take off and go. No, little fake inside, and Tafoya, and he's not going to make it. Alex Tafoya, the up back, got it. He might have got 3 or 4 yards, but that was about as far as they took it.
And it was a quick bang play.
Yep.
They don't go up there and wait very long. They hike it right to Tafoya and came close to getting the first
Yeah,
down. But smart play by Villarreal. Just try to make something happen. You're down 28-7, and maybe it's sort of like an offensive play. Try to catch the Mavericks asleep a little bit.
He's consoling Meshach Rivas, but we haven't seen the last of Meshach. The really good ones, when it gets tough, that's when they really turn it on here. Well, let's see what they do. The defense. It's if we can stop them here, we can turn the momentum around. A lot of times it just takes 1 or 2 plays. Ehrlich again has got 4 receivers. Now he's got a little reverse, and the Panthers are going to take him down. No, he breaks a tackle, and they're going to get him again. What a great effort by Madrigal. He's the one that stopped the play. The rest of the guys joined in.
Yeah, Franklin made the initial hit, and they're going to say that he was down right there. Maybe his knee went down, but you see Franklin with a good hit right there, and there is his knee. His knee hit down right there, so they're going to call it dead right there at the 35-yard line. But good job by Franklin. Not a very big guy, but a lot of speed. He gets into the backfield and makes the play.
Big Panther up on the scoreboard. That gets the fans kind of excited here at Lackey Stadium. And here we go again. 2nd down and about 20. Out of the under center this time is Ehrlich. He's got a couple of receivers to his left. Got a runner. Green in motion. Can they go get him? And he spins. Good play, but a good play there by Alvarez at the 38-yard line.
The first one again in the backfield was Franklin once again, number 22, and he's just shooting the gaps using his speed, and he gets back there and almost gets to Green. You'll see him trailing the play right there. But, yeah, good job by the Panthers defensively, and you got to keep pursuing to the ball. And there you see Franklin. That's what he was doing on that play. Yeah, he didn't get the ball, but if Green makes a move or a little hesitation, Franklin will bring him down.
Now it's 3rd down and about 14. Last time they had a big situation like this, they got a touchdown because their quarterback is getting some time back there to throw.
This is big for the Panthers.
It sure is. Ehrlich to throw. Here comes the rush. They set up the screen play to Green. Can they get him in pursuit? And he's going to be well short of the first down, about the 45-yard line, Carlos. And if they punt this ball this time, Carlos, they're going to have to kick into that super big wind.
Well, look at that. 1, 2, 3 and out. So
Yes.
the Panther defense, they do their job. That's what we were talking about earlier. They don't need to stop the Mavericks the entire game. Just make a couple of stops here and there and get that Panther offense back on the field. So that's what they do right there.
Well, they've called timeout. The coach is talking. Now they come back onto the field. But, well, actually, I thought they called timeout. No, they didn't. And they're going to punt from the 45-yard line. Rivas is out there.
Against the wind, Terry.
3 seconds to go. They get the snap underway. And they're going to kick it away from Mishek. But they did a good job of it. They got it down to the 28-yard line. And in this kind of wind, I'll tell you what, if you can get it down there more than 25, you're doing a good job.
But listen to this crowd
yes.
as they are fired up and ready to go. They have a big hand for the defense. They made a stop. Yeah, they had 4 possessions, 4 scores, but this time the Panthers defense able to stop them right there, get that offense back on the field.
All I can say, Carlos, the Mavericks dare not put their second-team defense on the field because we can put points on the board so fast. Here we go. Handoff. Rivas behind some blockers. And, they're going to get him in the backfield at about the 23-yard line. Good pursuit that time by the Mavericks, number 21, who did a great job that time, Mario Wiggins, and we've called his number before.
Yeah, well, Wiggins, what he did right there, he didn't lose containment. He was the outside guy, the defensive end, and what he was able to do is just get rid of his blocker and make the tackle.
All right, it's 3:33 to go. Now, the Panthers have had a couple of halves this year where they didn't score a lot of points, but then they made up for it in the other half as the sun
Benito
comes
game.
out. Yep. All right, and yeah. Man in motion. Del Toro. He's behind Sanchez, and I don't know, Carlos. They're running wide. This is a good team to run wide against. They are very, very quick, going side to side. Very quick.
Yeah, good lateral movement by the Mavericks, able to get down the field quickly.
But they might be setting something up too. You know, you're running side to side, and all of a sudden they bust one right up the middle because Villarreal, he's playing this game now. If they don't make it on 3rd down, they are going to have to punt it. But right now, let's see if they can make that 1st down. Del Toro again in motion, fakes. De Leon's going to throw. He's got a man out here. That's Rivas at the 35, cuts it, and still going about the 50. Still breaking tackles now at the foot race.
Yes, sir!
They bring him down at the 35-yard line. Mishek Rivas brings him back. A great run after he caught the football.
Why does he have 3,000 yards on the season? Because of moves like that. Mishek Rivas gets out into the open field, and yeah, you talk about his speed and his agility and able to stop and move, but also he's a pretty strong guy for his size. Look at that, breaking some tackles. That's a San Antonio team right there, and he picks up an extra 10 yards after the tackle.
More direct that time. Instead of going side to side, they set up the pass beautifully. They got Lozano as a wide receiver out there. Rivas is a receiver in the slot. Alex DePoya back there with Dylan De Leon as the sun gets bright here at Lackey Stadium. Big rush put on. De Leon down the field. He's got a receiver here, Lozano, but it goes over his head, and it is incomplete. 2:11 to go in the first half, Carlos. It would be huge if we could put one on the board before we go to the locker room.
That's what they need to do, and De Leon showing his speed and quickness. A lot of pressure right there. It puts it up into a space where Lozano can have an opportunity, but think that was tipped right before it got to Lozano, before he had an opportunity to make the catch.
All right, here we go. 2nd down and 10. Line of scrimmage to 35. This is about other than the touchdown, this is the deepest the Panthers have been all day long. De Leon, he can't call a timeout. He's going to have to run the play. He's looking up the middle. He's got a man in the middle. Oh, my goodness. Nieto took a huge hit at about the 24-yard line, and that's Wiggins again, Carlos. These guys, I believe Wiggins might be D1 material here going on to the next level. But
well, what happened on this play is that De Leon had a little bit more time, fires it right in there, and That one looked like maybe an opportunity to make the catch. May have been tipped also there on that play, but it was hard to tell from the angle that we had.
Boy, he took a big league hit that time. Nieto did, but he's up and he's going okay. It's 3rd down and 10. Now they have their little movement going here. Hand off to Rivas behind a couple of blockers. Trying to cut up to the field. There he goes. 25-yard line. He's going to be close to a first down. Mishak Rivas with that little cutback move. And he's going to be close.
Well, the passing game has opened up the running game a little bit. And, you know, where's the ball going to go? It goes to Mishak, and he had a couple of blockers out there in front. Makes a little cutback to come close to the first down.
Well, this is huge. 4th down. This is 4th down and very, very short. They're going to have to go just inside the 25-yard line. They cannot stop the clock here. De Leon to throw. He's got a man wide open out there. Catch! Oh, what a tremendous catch by Nieto to get that first down. My goodness. Oh, my, was that a catch.
You got to keep fighting. You're the Panthers down 28-7, and your bread and butter is your running game, but De Leon coming to life here with the passing game in the 3rd round of the playoffs, and Nieto with an incredible catch right there as he comes down with it for the first down.
We got about 1:20 to go to halftime. The Panthers have the win with them. They go into that shift again. Hand off to Rivas trying to get wide. 20, cuts to the outside and gets out of bounds at about the 16-yard line. And
there's a flag.
there they finally throw the flag. I mean, he was well out of bounds, and Villarreal is all over the official.
Yeah, and Mishak is down also. And,
is he?
And the guy that had the opportunity, the official that had the opportunity to throw the flag said no.
Oh.
And then the back judge came in and he threw the flag, and Mishak is down.
Yeah, he is down.
That's not good.
Yeah, that is not good, and that was a very flagrant throw down.
And here's
5 yards out of bounds.
Yeah, here's the replay right here as Mishak already gives up, and then the flipping his feet go up in the air, and he's well out of bounds, and he goes down, and that's why they throw the flag.
Yep.
So that's going to be half the distance to the goal, and Mishak is still down.
Yeah, and the fans can see it. I'll tell you, 95% of the places, Carlos, don't have a scoreboard like this.
On defense, half the distance, automatic first down.
But here, you make a sin here, and we're going to catch you. It's going to be on tape.
Mishak is up. Everyone in this building stood up, wondering if Mishak was going to be okay. He pops right up. Looked like he was just shaking up a little bit, and he's okay.
Yeah, he has to sit out one play is all. But yeah, there was that happened, and the ball is on about the 7-yard line, Carlos.
Nice drive. Remember, this drive started at the 29-yard line for the Panthers.
First down and goal to go. Dylan De Leon out of a shotgun formation. Hand off. Nope. Fake. Dylan is going to take it. He's at the 5. Trying to get to the end zone. He goes out of bounds. Into the end zone. Fumbled.
They're saying he's down.
Yeah, you're going to see. I think the Panthers recovered it. But Dylan De Leon did a great job that time. Rivas is going to come back onto the field. And he's trying to get the fans pumped up. It is, 2nd down and goal to go from inside the 1. We've got 1:02 to go.
The fake to Tafoya and bouncing to the outside is De Leon. We talk about his speed also, and just got up at the very last minute, and yeah, he was down. His knee touched the turf.
Handoff. Who's got it? Rivas. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Weslaco. Mishak Rivas from about a yard out. That was a tough yard. But he's going to score, and the Panthers, Carlos, with 57 seconds to go, are back on the board, and they're back in the ball game.
This drive started at the 29-yard line, an 11-play drive, and the Weslaco Panthers right back into this football game, baby.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting second half here. Of course, this extra point is big. Arriaga is going to have the win with him here. Snap back is good. The kick is on the way. It's that floater we used to from Arriaga, and it's up and good. 57 seconds to go. They're going to have to fix the scoreboard. They put it's 28-14, and a great drive that time, Carlos, by the Panthers. Usually they're the kind of team with a 3 or 4 play drive.
Right.
This time they marched it down the field.
Well, it's a different ball game now. The 3rd round of the playoffs, and 11. I got 11-play drive. I may have missed a play here and there, but it started at the 29-yard line. They had the win. The second time they had the win, and they used a lot of passing in this game, running, passing, and Dylan De Leon doing a great job of leading this drive, leading this attack down the field for the score.
2 big plays on the drive, Carlos, was the pass to Mishak Rivas. It kind of got him out of trouble. And then the great catch by Bryant Nieto to keep the drive going. And that really were the two key ones, and the Panthers are right back on the board. And now that, and you know what set that all up? The great defensive stand by the Weslaco defense.
Yeah, the 3-and-out where the Mavericks came out, and they hadn't been stopped most of this game, but on that last drive, the Panther defense, they made the stop, and we talked about that. Make a couple of stops, and get your offense on the field.
Boy, they're going to the movies here today, aren't we? We've already had Rudy. Now we've got Hoosiers.
Hoosiers, that's right. The small school that won a state championship back in the 50s, and that's what Weslaco is. They're the small school here, small rural Grand Valley, going up against the big boys from San Antonio.
That's based on a true story, by the way. Myself being from the Midwest, Indiana just to the south of us a little bit, but that's exactly what happened. A very, very small town back in Indiana. If people don't know, up until a few years ago, everybody in the state, regardless of size, played against each other for the state championship.
Do you try an onside kick here and try to get the ball back in the hands of Weslaco?
Well, let's see what Lugo does. No, he booms it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be down to, it hits the back of the end zone, and I don't know. They're going to have to go 80 yards now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and like we said earlier, Lugo's got the foot power to get it out. I'm looking around, Carlos. I'm fascinated. I'm looking around. There's no empty spots around this place.
No, they're still going. Also, we got a little different show for you. We had a pregame show, and we're also going to have a halftime show. We'll bring in Joey Calvillo. I'll talk to him, and he's going to talk about some of the stats in this football game. So stay tuned for our halftime show, where Joey Calvillo will come in here and let us know how the Panthers are doing statistic-wise.
Joey's the stat man today.
Stat-wise, yeah.
Okay, Ehrlich, the quarterback. He's got Green behind him in the I formation. Sends a man in motion. Pitts leading the blocking. Out to the outside, cut back against the grain, and breaking tackles up to maybe the 28-yard line. Good effort over there by the Panthers.
Mavericks have one more timeout left, and I think this defense is coming out here a little bit more confident, Terry, and as they get it out there and get into Green, and he's not picking up those long yards like he was earlier in the game.
Well, they got some time to rest a little bit. The Panther offense was on the field a little bit. Second down and about 8 yards to go out of the I formation again. Inside handoff to Pitts, and this time, well, he's a tough runner. He reminds me a little bit size-wise, Carlos, of Corbin Epps a few years ago for the Edinburgh Bobcats.
I'm going to go ahead and go downstairs, Terry, and get ready for that halftime show.
Okay, I'll give you a piece of paper here to take with you, and we'll take the rest away. Thanks a lot, Carlos. As the wind is howling here at Bobby Lackey Stadium, but what a great afternoon for football. A little windy, but other than that, what a day. First down and 10 for the Mavericks. 9 seconds to go. They send a man in motion coming right. Might be a halfback pass. Down the field, there's a pass up there, and almost intercepted by Adrian Gonzalez. It's going to be incomplete. No time on the clock, triple zeros. I don't see any flags right now. And we're going to go to halftime with a score. The Mavericks 28, the Panthers 14.
The pace setters. Officers include 6th Lieutenant Amanda Martinez, 5th Lieutenant Annie Cedillo, 4th Lieutenant Monica Martinez, 3rd Lieutenant Michelle Perez, 2nd Lieutenant Ashley Aguirre, 1st Lieutenant Brittany Tamez, Boat Captain Janet Cortez, and Captain Cassie Estebanez. The exciting and always popular pace setters are going to bring their own high kick routine in Agata de Vida by Iron Butterfly.
It is halftime here at Bobby Lackey Stadium, and that was the Weslaco Panther Corps playing here at halftime, where the Panthers are behind 28-14. Hello, everybody. I'm Carlos Robledo, along with Joey Calvillo here with a little halftime show to talk a little bit about the Weslaco Panthers. They were down to this football game. They came out, first of all, on top 7-0. A big strike to Mishak Rivas. They were down, though, 28-7, but Mishak scores a 1-yard plunge in the second quarter, so the Panthers now only down 28-14.
And you knew that Tony V is going to have something up his sleeve, and when he put Mishak in the slot there and have him run that flag route out there, that was a wonderful play. Unfortunately, this field position has been horrible for the Panthers, and I think that's really affecting today's game along with the win.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the wind blowing here. It's been 35, maybe 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's played a factor because field position has been an issue in this football game.
Yeah, average starting point for the Madison Mavericks, 41. They've been on their own 41-yard line. When you cut the field in half, Carlos, you are allowing your defense, and you're putting your defense on their heels constantly. Weslaco Panthers on the other side have started on their own average 28-yard line due to the kickoffs just getting down the end zone, and there's some bad calls. The Panthers have not been penalized in this game. We're trying to look for positive things. 2 penalties. Unfortunately, one of them was a big callback on a Meshach run, and the other one a questionable call at that. Tony V down here really questioning some of the calls from the referees. Down here you have a lot of people questioning calls constantly, but in those 2 cases, I saw myself, it just was not the best calls in the world.
Tell me a little bit about the stats. Meshach Rivas so far has not been held under 100 yards yet in this season. Rushing wise, he's over 100 yards total, but rushing wise, what's he got?
47 yards, Carlos. Holding a prolific back like that to 47 yards, you got to hand it to Madison and their defensive scheme. They really came in here saying, we're going to stop Meshach through the ground. Unfortunately, they forgot about he can catch too. Passing for Weslaco, 6 of 12, 100 yards for Dylan De Leon. Meshach Rivas, 85 yards of that, getting in and really shaking up the Madison's offense. We saw him up here putting 8, 10 man in the box and not having anybody deep and not respecting the Weslaco Panthers in the air.
It's been a different game plan for the Weslaco Panthers. You know, usually you like to see, or you see a lot of running for this football team, but they've had to pass a lot, and that's because that's what the defense has given them. Yeah, like you said, they have a lot of men up in the box, not a lot of running lanes, but they passed a lot.
Yeah, Madison, on the other hand, for our defense, until and I was telling you this earlier off air, J.L. Franklin, one of our best defensive ends, came into the game, and that's when they made the big stop that really helped out the Panthers, and I thought really swayed this game the other way. I mean, you can't really say at 28-14, but when you go into the halftime with a touchdown under your belt, you know you have a positive, you have that momentum on your side. You're going to have the wind against you. They're going to have against.
They're going to have it in the fourth quarter.
So they're going to have it in the fourth quarter. So again, we got to look to the positive and say this is what we've done. They've held Madison to 134 yards rushing. Madison is 6 of 9 for 81 yards passing. Madison's never been a passing team, more of a rushing team. So when you get them, shorten the field, 124 yards doesn't sound like a lot. But look at the scoreboard, 28 points is really quick.
You hear the crowd. They just announced 10,000 fans here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. I'm up in the booth. What is the atmosphere like down here?
It's hard to hear. I mean, I'm talking to Gabriel Cruz right next to me, the media tech teacher for Weslaco High, and I can hardly hear him at times. I've had people ask me questions as, what are you doing for Madison? People coming over and talking to me. I can't hear them. Either I got bad hearing or this crowd is extremely loud.
Extremely loud. The Weslaco Panthers still in this football game. Nobody has gone home yet of the 10,000 fans that are here. Thank you very much, Calvillo, for being here. The second half is about to begin. The last 2 times the Mavericks had the football, the Weslaco defense stopped them. Can they do it again? We'll find out, because the Mavericks will have the ball when we come back here in the second half. He's going to try to run for it, but he's not going to get anywhere as the Weslaco Panthers are there.
This is where we hold them.
Oh, my!
This is where we fight.
Touchdown!
This is our house.
Welcome back to slightly noisy Bobby Lackey Stadium. Terry Beitler with you. Carlos Robledo will be joining me shortly. And it is playoff atmosphere. I'll tell you what, very few venues in the state of Texas can match the excitement here. It's 28-14 at halftime. The Mavericks are leading, but the Panthers are not done yet. They've been behind. 2 weeks ago, they were behind by the same score. Within 4.5 minutes, they tied the ball game up. Now granted, the opponent is a little stronger today, but the Panther drive is not. The desire is there, and we've got 24 minutes of football left here at Bobby Lackey Stadium, and it should be a lot of fun. The wind has been a big factor in this ball game today. The team that's had the ball going from south to north has had a huge advantage because the wind is where the wind has really had its impact is in the kicking game. There have been some punts, and I'll tell you, the punts are have been very short. I don't think we've had a 30-yard punt yet today, and especially going against the wind. But we got a whole half of football to go. The crowd is into it. A great halftime show by both of these bands, and the excitement level is something else, and this is what it's all about. This is the regional semifinals. If the Panthers can come back in the second half and win the ball game, they're already assured of a home game for the regional finals against Smithson Valley. But we've got a lot of football between now and then. Lugo will kick off. The last time he kicked off with the win, he put it out of the field of play. Back deep is number 22, Andrew Green, and we're ready to go. The fans are on their feet, and they're ready to go for this third round playoff game between Weslaco and San Antonio Madison. High end over end kick down to about 8 yards deep and out of the end zone. Actually went over the back line, and Madison will take over the ball on the 20-yard line. And now we find out who made those adjustments at halftime. The first 5 or 6 minutes of the third quarter always very crucial because the coaches go into halftime, make adjustments, and let's see what happens here. Both offensively and defensively, it'll be number 4, Brian Ehrlich, the quarterback. He's got Andrew Green behind him, also number 33, Pitts. They send a man in motion, hand off to the first man, Green. They're going to get him in the backfield at about the line of scrimmage. Matthew Madrigal in on the stop. Danny Torres also in on the top for Weslaco. So a little up the middle play. The up the middle plays for San Antonio Madison have not been working that well. Where they've been most effective has been running that right end, and also the passing game. Ehrlich has been getting some time to pass, and he's done a great job of it. Second down and 10 as Carlos Robledo is going to join me here in the booth in just a moment. But right now, let's see what the Panther defense can do. Ehrlich out of a shotgun. It looks like a passing formation. Nope, handoff to, looks like Pitts. And for the Panthers, actually that was Green. And on the stop, number 31, Melchor Valdez. And Carlos, we start out the second half. This time, though, instead of getting the ball at midfield, they've got to go 80 yards with the football.
Yeah, well, it's that wind playing a factor here. Once again, we talked about that, the halftime show, but, you know, a big play right here. The last 2 times the Mavericks had the ball, the Panthers were able to stop it. Can they do it again? We'll find out.
Yeah, they did. The last time they were 25-yard line, third down and 5 into the wind this quarter is the Madison Mavericks. Pitch out, going wide to Green. Can they stop him? They got him in the backfield. Oh, Nelly. That is Melchor Valdez. We've seen him at times, Carlos, be dominating on the defense.
Yeah, and that's the third stop right here for the Panthers. They did it one time where it was 3 and out. The Panthers got the ball. They scored. And the second time, the time ran out on them. The Panthers were able to hold them. And now, Mishak Rivas, let's see if he gets an opportunity to return this punt.
He looks so determined, Carlos. I'm looking down at him. He hasn't been lifting the hands up to this point. He just looks so determined, like this is my half, this is my turn. And he's going to have to punt into the wind. Only one man back is Rivas. Good snap back. And a decent kick into the wind, but Rivas is going to take it at about the 38-yard line. To the 40, cutting wide, 50, still cutting wide, trying to cut back, cuts against the grain, still going, 44-yard line. He's showing the shifty moves. And is there a penalty on the play?
No, it looked like there could have been a penalty on that play right there, but one of our guys who was blocking, he decided, you know what, he just held up. It was an opportunity for him to block maybe somebody, but the guy turned around, he's going to hit him in the back, so he just held up, and that would have been the only chance for a penalty right there. This crowd is fired up and ready to go, and so are the Weslaco Panther offense.
All right, here we go. They break the huddle. First play of the second half for the Panthers. Rivas in motion. Pitch out. 45, 40, there he goes. 35, he's well, good stop down there at the 25-yard line. And I'll tell you, otherwise, he might have taken it to the house, but he had an 18-yard run on that punt return, Carlos. It just was a great run, and then all of a sudden he takes off again, takes it down to about the 27-yard line. It's 1st and 10, and the Panthers look ready to play.
Yeah, more importantly, they pick up big yards on that first down.
Yes. All right, 1st and 10 for Weslaco. Dylan DeLeon on a drop back. He's got a man out here and overthrow. That's not a bad throw. He had Roy Herrera out there, but the wind might have got a hold of that and pushed it up a little bit.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the wind. You know, you're going against the wind, but also the wind can also hurt you a little bit. When you're throwing with it. It can carry the ball up a little bit high.
It sure did. 2nd down and 10. It looked like Rivas got knocked down pretty hard as he was trying to block out of the backfield, but he's a gamer. Eric Hernandez is going to come in. Guzman's going to come out. Rene Thomas is going to come in for the Panthers. So let's see what they've got called. The ball is on the 27-yard line, 2nd down and 10. They're going to work a shotgun with Rivas right beside Dylan DeLeon. No, he fakes. No, Rivas has got it. 25, 20 inside the 20 to the 19-yard line. Another little gain for Mishak Rivas.
This is a totally different ball game from the first half. The last few drives the Panthers have shown, and all they had to do, Terry, was get the win. They really couldn't do much in that first half against the wind. It was playing a major factor, but since they've had the win, they've been able to move the football.
And with 9 minutes to go here, 3rd down and about 3 to go. Rivas in motion again. Hand off to Tafoya. No, Rivas has got the football. Cut back at the 20. They're going to bring him down at about the 17. He's going to be close to the 1st down. And boy, I'll tell you what, he can just, with his turf, he can just stop on a dime. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, well, what happened is, he go one-on-one with Mishak. He can make one guy miss, but you got the pursuit of the Mavericks that coming up. And there you see all the white jerseys in the back. That's what finally catches up to Rivas. You go one-on-one, he can get around you, maybe pick up a few yards, but it's that pursuit that finally caught up with him on that play.
4th down and about a half a yard. They're going to go for it, of course. Fans are chanting, go. Rivas in motion again. No, they pitch back. He's trying to get wide. He's at the 15, and they're going to stand him up right there. And I'll tell you what, it's going to take about 4 of the Mavericks just to bring him down. He only weighs about 150.
And once again, you go for it on 4th down, and you give it to Mishak, and all he needed to do was get about a yard. And that offensive line, they're also coming out here determined as the Mavericks. I don't know if they're a little tired, but they're not playing with as much enthusiasm as they were in the first half.
Well, they're not getting the ball on the 30-yard line this half. That's one thing. And the fans are right in it. Tafoya behind the crowd breaks it down to about the 5-yard line, and there is a penalty at the very end of the play. Might have been a face mask, I don't know.
That's the only thing it could be there to come so late in this game. That'll be half the distance to the goal once again in the red zone. We had one of those earlier in the game, and it helped the Panthers score.
Let's wait and see what they call. Referee is mic'd.
Down.
Well, let's see what he's going to call. I don't see. I know a flag came in.
They're moving the ball already. Face mask.
Face mask. On the defense.
Now, does that bring an automatic first down with it? I don't know. I think it does.
First down.
First down, goal to go. All right, here we go. Ball inside the 5 at about the 3. DeLeon under center with the football. Rivas in motion. He's going to drop. He lefts it off to Mishak. He spins away from one man, and he gets back to about the 6 or 7 yard line, but they tried to go with I don't know if that was a screen pass, but I'll tell you what, the Maverick defense was all over DeLeon.
Well, it looked like it was a screen because there was people in the backfield so quickly, but Dylan trying to get it to Lozano, number 83, but Lozano was even covered, so he had to check down to Mishak.
Yeah, that's one of the strengths of this team is their defensive backs. They very, very good back there.
Yeah, they're very, very quick. They can play the run and move back and play the pass pretty quick also.
All right, it's 2nd down and goal to go. The Panthers have it back at the 7 yard line out of a power eye to the right. Now they send Hernandez in motion. Fake. DeLeon still rolling. He's got a man into the end zone. He throws it away. He had Lozano in the end zone, but he threw it away from him a little bit.
Well,
and Daniel couldn't get it.
You got a couple of defensive backs that were back there, and these are some tall players over there for Madison, talking 6'1", 6'2" guys, and they're both covering Lozano. So, Dylan said, you know what, let me just get rid of it, throw it in the corner. If Lozano can get there, if he can get there, great. If not, well, at least it'll be an incomplete pass.
Kind of where you miss Pepe Cabrera, isn't it? When you go up for that alley-oop pass, but you deal with what you got here. Nieto is in the ball game. Rivas in motion. Fake. DeLeon takes it, cuts back, gets inside to about the 4-yard line. Now, big call here for Coach Tony Villarreal, Carlos. 4th down, they're in perfect field goal position with the wind behind them. It would just be basically an extra point. They have to take it into the end zone because it is a 4th down and goal to go. The ball is on the 5, and there's no hesitation here. They're going to go for it. They've got Guzman and Tafoya in the ball game. Rivas in motion. Into the end zone, wide open, touchdown. Rene Thomas, and the Panthers score again. Thomas on the catch. He was wide open in the end zone. So another big 4th down, yes.
Listen to this crowd.
Oh, yeah. This is Panther Mania out here. So the first possession of the second half, Carlos, a big one. They were able to stop the Mavericks and were able to come up with a touchdown of their own. Arriaga with a big extra point here, an 8-point differential with 6:36 to go here in this 3rd quarter. Good snap back. Kick is up, and this is fluttering through. But the Panthers are within 7, 28-21. Remember, Carlos, they were down 28-7 at one time.
And here's the play, and everything is looking over here to the right-hand side, and just squeezing out over there is Tamez, wide open with the catch, and Panthers now only down by 7 points. Key to this football game, we talked about it. All we need is, the win, but also all we need is just a couple of stops by this defense, and they've made 3 big stops already. And the Panthers have scored. Well, they scored. They weren't able to score because they didn't get the ball. They went into the half, but able to score. And there is the kiss cam. That's why you see some mugging there in the stands.
Mugging, hugging.
It's a kiss cam. But the Weslaco Panther defense making the stops in this football game. Awesome.
Well, Mishak Rivas was huge on that drive, getting the punt return, and then the very first play from scrimmage where he took off and ran again. So the Panthers are fighting and clawing their way. And one of the keys here, Carlos, is the defense has been able to adjust here, and they've stopped this team twice in a row now. And they're going to have the win with them, Carlos, for the next 6:36. And as long as they can keep the Mavericks back on their heels a little bit, I think they've got a good chance to get back in this thing.
Yeah. Anytime you get the Panther offense on that field and you can keep it within striking distance, you're very much in this football game. This is one of the top offenses in the state for a very good reason.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, they're always one Mishak Rivas run away from getting back in it because he can take it all the way anytime. Panther fans again on their feet. And we haven't talked about that, Carlos, but the 12th man has been huge for Weslaco today as well.
Over 10,000 people in attendance in this football game, Terry. They announced that at the half.
Lugo to kick. Another high end-over-end kick back deep into the end zone. And out of play it goes. And again, the Mavericks are going to have to take over the ball, and they're going to have to go 80 yards if they want to put something on the board.
Yeah, there's 10,000 fans here, and I think 8,000
or
of them
more
are wearing purple or purple and white because not a lot of orange on that other side.
I'll tell you, I will say one thing about the Maverick band. They did an outstanding job at halftime. Their dance routine was very good. Their band was very good, and they brought their loyal supporters right around the 50 to the 40-yard line to the 40-yard line, and so their staunch supporters are here. Here we go. Ehrlich, the quarterback, this time out of a shotgun with twin receivers on to the outside. He's got Green beside him. He's going to roll it. He's going to throw over the middle of the field and caught there at about the 39-yard line. Breaks a tackle. Still going to the outside. And there's a flag down. And down the sideline at the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. They're going to take it into the end zone, but we're going to see what goes on here. Big number 76. The big linemen at the 50-yard line, they're not going down and celebrating.
Well, it's going to be the block in the back once again, and you'll see the Maverick. He just put his hand right, just putting a hand on the back of the jersey. That's enough to be a block in the back. So they'll get the yardage, they'll get the first down, but at the spot of the foul, they'll bring it back 10
yards.
yards.
Look at this, Coach Villarreal. Coach Tony down there trying to pump up the fans.
And that's what he wanted. He wanted a ruckus crowd here at Bobby Lackey, and he's getting it, and he's leading the cheers down there on the field.
10 yards, spot
the penalty was at the 45, Carlos. It's going to take it back to about the 35, I believe. It'll be enough for a first down, but that's a momentum killer because they had the touchdown.
Yeah, the Coach V knows that the Panthers are in this game, and he knows how critical that this drive is right here. So he wants the 12th man to help out right now.
Yeah, I tell you don't see that from Coach Tony V very often, but he just pumping the crowd up, and they responded. The ball at the 35-yard line, and that's one of their big plays, Carlos, is that crossing pattern where Ehrlich gets a little bit of time to throw.
Yeah,
and he's finding that receiver
right up
cross.
the middle. They scored on that play early in the game.
Yep, they sure did. All right, first down and 10. Now, the pitch just went to the sideline. I don't know if that's going to be an illegal substitution or not. Handoff to Green. Can they get him? Well, they try to break tackles, and he gets up to maybe the 38-yard line, but the Panther defense that time all over Mr. Green.
Well, the running game just hasn't been as effective for the Mavericks here in the second half, Terry, as they go to Green right up the middle, but once again, in the backfield, penetrating, shooting the gaps. That's what the Weslaco Panthers are doing to stop this high-powered offense.
Second down and about 7 or 8 yards to go. And let's see what the defense can do. Franklin, the little guy in there at defensive tackle. Ehrlich under center this time with a more conventional setup behind him. Green with the football, got a break. Let's see if the Panthers can bring him down. They do at the 37-yard line. Melchor Valdez and Danny Torres. A couple of the linebackers doing their job.
Well, what they do is a little play action and look like a fake one way, and then they go ahead and give it to Green, but still, you got to be in there, and that is Danny Torres as he comes up there using, not a lot of size, but the quickness and the speed is there to make the play.
Valdez is having another huge game for the Panthers this afternoon, along with Danny Torres. Those linebackers are doing the job.
Can the Panthers make another stop, Terry, here and put the ball back in the hands of the offense?
Third down and 7 for the Mavericks passing situation. Ehrlich. Oh, little movement. That's going to cost him 5. Big number 75 moved it. This now all of a sudden, I almost blame that one on the 12th man.
You got to give that to the 12th man. They're loud. Everyone's chanting defense. And who was leading the cheers earlier in the game? Coach V. He's the one that wanted his crowd to get up and make some noise, and they certainly have.
Ball is back.
And they're going to get even louder now.
Yes. Yeah, this is almost like playing indoors. This crowd can get that loud. Ball on the 33-yard line. Third down at about 12. I don't know if Madison is used to this kind of noise. Here we go. Ehrlich again. He's got Green beside him. Snap back. Looking to his left. Looking to his left. Now he's flushed out. Going after him. He's had to rush this time up the middle of the field and drops the football. And that's going to make it fourth down into the wind. They had the first down, and big number 11, who scored that touchdown earlier, that is Joey Boyd, who I believe is their top receiver, dropped the football.
Well, they had Jacob Ponce, who was putting a beat right there on Boyd, and he must have heard footsteps. I don't know if he heard anything, but he knew he was going to get hit, and he drops the ball, because you'll see Ponce coming in for the attack right there.
Well, I'll tell you, that's one of the few times tonight, Carlos, or this afternoon, that the Panthers have really put some pressure on the quarterback. Now Rivas is back into the wind again.
That's 4 big stops for the Panthers in this game. 4 stops.
4:34 to go here in the third quarter. Panthers have the wind with them for that next 4:34. Good snap back. Good kick. Rivas is going to look at it. No, it bounces back, and it's going to be at about the 42-yard line. Good decision by Mishek. And now the Panthers are going to come on the field with a chance to tie this game up.
And what they're going to get a big hand. This defense does. They knew that they're the ones that are going to have to step it up here. The offense, they've been hard to stop all season long. The defense needed a couple of stops. They've got 4 so far. The Mavericks haven't scored since early in that second quarter.
Yeah, they put 28 on the board, and after that, the Panthers just shut them down. Now the Panthers are going to have that clock, like I said, for the next 4 minutes. They come out of it, an I formation. Hand off to Tafoya, trying to get outside, cuts at the 45-yard line, picked up maybe 2 or 3 yards. That's just to keep you honest a little bit, Alex Tafoya.
And now you're seeing a little bit of energy here by the Panthers at that offensive line. First half you saw a lot of penetration by the guys in the white jerseys in the backfield disrupting things, but right now they're back on their heels a little bit.
The more they score, Carlos, and the big factor in here too is the confidence factor. They know they can play with these guys. No, they fake. Dylan DeLeone's got a receiver out there. Rojas, 30, 20, 10. The freshman scored the touchdown. Weslaco tie. John Rojas. Oh my, the freshman. Go ahead, Carlos.
Just listen to the crowd. I wanted everyone just to listen to the crowd and get a taste of the atmosphere at Bobby Lackey, and it's going to get even louder after this extra point.
Arriaga's extra point, high snap, the kick is up, floating through again, and we're tied at Bobby Lackey Stadium, 3:51 to go. We still got time in the third quarter. The Panthers have come back from a 28-7 deficit.
28-7, and here's the play as they fake it right here. They fake it to Mishak, one of the leading rushers in the state, and wide open is Rojas, the freshman. He makes a spectacular catch, actually covered, not wide open, but covered the great pass there by the Leon, puts it in the area so he can go up there and make the grab, and then the missed tackle by the defender, and he goes in for the score to tie this regional semifinal up, 28-28.
Right now, momentum, wearing purple, but we have to remember, Carlos, we got a long time to go.
And did that just wake up the Mavericks? We'll find out, because they've been pretty quiet here since early in the second quarter. Still going against the wind.
Well, the Panthers have proved one thing, Carlos, they can play with this team, that's for sure.
They made their adjustments defensively. That's where they've made, offensively they made their adjustments. They kept them off balance. They've come to the passing game. Mishak is going to get his 100 yards or more in this football game. But defensively, that's where they've really made some big differences. Shooting the gaps, disrupting things in the backfield, using their quickness and their speed. Yeah, the other guys may be a little bit more powerful, but we got some speed and quickness that we're utilizing on defense.
Isn't that a typical one-play drive or two-play drive? That's been the Panthers. John Rojas.
You think it's going to get loud? It's going to get even louder when the Mavericks get the ball here next.
Well, who's on the horizon? Remember, Mishak Rivas was a freshman on the varsity. Rojas played all year on the. He's accustomed to Albert and Marco Rojas, so he's got the bloodlines there. Lugo is going to kick off again. High end over end kick. This one is way up. That one on the track back there. Oh my! That's the power of the wind today. So the Panthers have come back, tied this ball game up. We've got a lot of football, and we got a tremendous game on our hands, Carlos.
The Mavericks came out here, took a 28-7 lead. They were shell-shocked at first because the Panthers scored, and then they just came back here just like it was going to be a typical San Antonio versus Valley football game. But the Panthers have said, you know what? It's not over yet till we say it's over.
Yep. And the saying on the scoreboard, you're in our house now. And here we go. Ehrlich, the quarterback. Melchor Valdez getting adjusted. Hand up, coming wide. Green, he's got some room to go. This time they're going to have to get him. And fumble, let's see who got it. The Panthers have got it. The Panthers have got it. At the 37-yard line, and that is Alvarez, number 34, coming away with the football.
The only loss they had this year was against Converse Judson, and they had 5 turnovers in that football game. That helped the Judson Rockets beat them. This is the first turnover in this game, and the Weslaco Panthers in business. That one was just hit right at the out of bounds, and I don't know how that ball stayed in bounds, Terry. It was right there right there towards the end of the play. And we'll watch the play right here as it just comes out. And you'll see it just pop out. A good call there by the officials, and I don't know how it stayed in bounds, but it did.
Armando Del Toro in the ball game, coming in motion to the near side. Hand off, Rivas going wide behind Severn. Cuts back at the 35, still on his feet. Breaks a tackle, still going, gets out of bounds. It's hard to bring that guy down.
Reminds me so much of the San Benito game, where it took a little bit of time before the Weslaco Panthers finally deciphered the Greyhounds defense, and they finally do it right here against the Mavericks, because remember, they weren't picking up 10 yards after every play like they are right now. Mishak, an incredible runner, and that's why right there, a lot of scouts watching this football game tonight, this afternoon.
That's for sure. 1st and 10. Hand off to Telfoya.
Flag.
Flag in the play might be illegal man, or it might be a holding. I'm not sure. It happened pretty quick. I was mentioning this before, Carlos. What I think helps the Panthers the most is your confidence level just keeps going up, and you say to yourself, hey, we can play with these guys. We can play with these guys. There's no intimidation factor anymore, and we just get it on the field.
And then the 12th man comes into play, and it's going to be against the Mavericks.
First down.
That's going to give them a first down, I believe.
A 1st and 5.
A 1st and 5. Yep. And also they feed off of the energy of the crowd. That is also playing a big factor.
All right, the ball is on the 23-yard line. Panthers are trying to take a lead for the first time since 10:05 to go in the first quarter. Rivas in motion. Hand off. No. De Leon's going to throw. He's got a receiver out here and just overthrows Big number 86. We haven't called his number yet today. He's usually a tight end out there.
That's going to be Jacob Chapa, who was out there. And they're using more of their receivers. That's what we haven't talked about Chapa all season long, but you know, he's coming out there and he's doing his best, and he's a sophomore on this football team at 6'1", 180 pounds. He played on that 7-7 team this summer.
All right, 2nd down and 5. They kind of had a free play in a way, Carlos, because they got the 1st down on the play before. Handoff. Rebus behind the blockers again. Cuts back at the 20, the 15, the 10, still making moves. Out of bounds he goes at about the 3. He's a man of 1,000 moves. And he's down to about the 1 or 2 yard line. 1st down and goal to go for Weslaco.
You know, you hear a lot about Mishak Rivas and all the yards that he has gotten this year, 3,086 yards, but he's done it against Valley teams. Well, tonight, this afternoon, he's doing it against a very good San Antonio defense and the 6th ranked team in the state.
Yep. Rivas in a power, actually in an I formation here. 1st down and goal to go. He comes in motion. Handoff to Foya, touchdown! The Panthers are ahead. Alex Tafoya into the end zone from 2, and Weslaco ahead. Let's listen to the crowd.
About what you would expect from the Weslaco Panther offense. Very quiet 1st quarter, but they've come back since then. In the 2nd quarter, they move the ball down the field, and they come out here in the 2nd half. Now they take the lead after a couple of touchdowns.
Arriaga's kick right through the middle again. And this quarter, Carlos, they have put 21 points on the board in this quarter alone. And they did this, we remember earlier, 2 weeks ago, I believe, against Edinburgh North was a team, I believe it was, where they put 28 points on the board in 1 quarter.
Yeah, the turnover is a big factor so far. Also, a penalty kept this drive alive. You got to remember, there was an offsides call by the Mavericks, so that helped them. You know, the Panthers get 5 extra yards. They had a free play right there, and defensively, they made the stops, and now the Panthers are up 35-28, and we knew that if the Panthers were going to win this game, they were going to win in the shootout. That's what we have so far.
Exactly. I felt that if we could get into the 40s, we had a good shot against this team. This is what we've been doing all year long, and as I mentioned before, twice before, Carlos, the confidence level now is they're down there in the field saying, we can play this team. We're not intimidated. You might be from San Antonio. You might be from Green Bay or New England. We'll play you. 35-28, and again, they're playing the Rudy in our house. The guys, I wanted to mention, Carlos, the guys told me at the tailgate party before the game, you never give us credit. The tunnel guys, so who are the tunnel guys? Well, they're the guys that blow up that big tunnel to let the Panthers come out before the game and at halftime, and so we want to say hello to the tunnel guys. By the way, they had a great tailgate party, good ribs. So 2:52 to go, Carlos, and let's see what happens with the next 2:52, and then when we turn it around again.
Right, that's going to be critical is when the Panthers have to go against the win. Hopefully they can still be as productive offensively.
Well, 28 of the 35 points have been with the win. They got 7 to start the ball game. They are in the head for the first time since early on in the first quarter.
And the Mavericks are shocked and stunned at what's going on.
There's another kick. This one might get through the goalpost. That might have went through, I don't know.
And that's that energy.
Yes.
That's that energy that we're feeding off of the crowd and the excitement and winning this football game. And maybe a little bit of adrenaline pumping right there to get that ball all the way through the goalpost.
Well, we've got 14 minutes and 52 seconds to go in this regional semifinal. The winner of this game advances to play Smithson Valley, who last night, Carlos, just tore apart Harlingen South 55-7. So it should be interesting. Ehrlich and the Madison Mavericks are out on the field right now. They're behind for the first time in a long time. 35-28, little movement. There's going to be a penalty marker. And again, the fans causing all kinds of confusion. It's like we're playing indoors at the Metrodome or an indoor place. The Alamo Dome, I should say.
I talked to some people down in the field. Joey Calvillo said that it was so loud down there that they can't talk to each other down there. So imagine what it's like for the football players with their helmets on and all the energy going on and thinking about the play that they're going to run, and then this loud crowd. Now the band is playing, and they're making as much noise as possible.
All right, defense is the chance.
Everybody's on their feet here, Terry. Nobody's sitting down.
First down and 15 to go. Ehrlich. Panthers are moving around a little bit. Handoff, inside, spinning, Green. See, good run by Green, and he gets it up to about the 23-yard line. They're going to be short of the first down, and one of those big offensive linemen just jumped into the pile.
And Marco Alvarez in on the stop there, helping out with the tackle, and what he does is he goes after Green, and he tries to force another turnover, and that would be huge as the Mavericks, once again, 5 turnovers against Judson, their only loss. That was critical in the game. But you have to believe they haven't been able to run the ball much against Wesley. You have to believe they're going to start to air it out here.
Yeah, their air game has actually been pretty good at times on the crossing pattern, going into the middle of the zone. Ehrlich again, second down and about 8 to go. He throws outside over the middle, and they got this time they've got him, but he's going to be short of the first down at about the close to the 30-yard line. That's big number 8. Nate Askew.
And Askew, a big boy, and Espinosa just hangs on to him, brings him down. You know, he may be a little bit taller, but you've got to bring him down, and that's what he does.
A third down and about a half a yard, maybe a yard to go. This is huge. Remember at the end of the first quarter, we were in a similar situation where we actually had to punt before the end of the quarter. Here we go. Ehrlich under center. He's going to do the quarterback sneak. He might have it. We'll wait and see here. The clock is going to move down. Of course, now San Antonio Madison, Carlos, is doing what we did in the first quarter. They're just hoping the time runs out so they can turn around and go the other way.
Yeah, once you got about 1:30 left here, and I'm sure Coach Villarreal will want to get the win and have them putting against the win here too. So if it gets down to a third down or a fourth down situation, and he might start using his timeout to stop the clock.
Well, the ball is on the 32-yard line, 1:20 to go and counting down. Third quarter, San Antonio Madison with the football. Ehrlich to throw. He's got a receiver out here at about the 45-yard line, and Adrian Gonzalez puts a textbook tackle on number 11 for San Antonio, Joey Boyd, who is their leading receiver.
And that's what you got to do once they get it out there. Yeah, they're going to make their catches, and you know, bend, don't break. Make that tackle right there. Don't let them break the big one wide open there. So go ahead and make that tackle. And that's what Gonzalez does there.
Very controlled passing game. When the Panthers do put pressure on, what's his name? Ehrlich has trouble with it. Handoff to Green. No, Ehrlich takes it himself. Somebody better find him. He's down to the 35-yard line, cuts back against the grain, and he might take it to the house. He's at the 10, the 5. Touchdown. Ehrlich fooled everybody on the play.
Well, a play that we have, and it's a play we hadn't seen all season long, or not all season long, all game long, I should say, is they fake it to Green, and he just takes off, and there was nobody there, and he was able to take off in some good little nifty moves down the field for Ehrlich to get the touchdown.
Danny Torres heard of the play. He's over barely getting off the field, so let's hope he's okay. But, Carlos, if any play was set up, I mean, Ehrlich, we haven't seen really his speed the entire day, but that was a tremendously called play. 39 seconds to go, and it looks like we're going to go into that fourth quarter all tied up. Here's the snap. The kick is up, and it is good. So it's going to come down to the fourth quarter.
And it's going to come down to another shootout, just like we had against Edinburgh North, like we had against Mac High, Terry. You know, but the Weslaco Panthers have been here before. They've played the big game. They've played in a shootout before, so they know what they have to do in this football game right here.
Well, they're going to have to take a look at Danny Torres. He came off the field barely, and he appeared to be hurt. And we'll check and see if he's okay, because we need him at the linebacker spot.
We have a person celebrating a special birthday.
Now with 39 seconds, Carlos, the one thing they do have to do is they do have to kick this kickoff into the wind, which should give us some decent field position.
Yeah, and do they try to get Mishak with his hands on the football? He did have a couple of returns back. He had one against Mercedes, he had one against Weslaco, so we know he has the capability, and he has numerous for his career, but only this year they kicked away from him, but they haven't tried to kick away from him yet. The Mavericks have in this football game.
Yeah, nobody. And it's still windy, Carlos, but I'm looking at the flag. It's kind of swirling a little bit. It's not as strong as it was early on. We're getting closer to, you know, it's 5:18 local time. Another half hour, it's going to be dark here, so that also has something to do with it as we get the daylight fades away here. But what a beautiful day to play football. I mean, we look around if we can, you know, pan the crowd or pan the parking lots, if we can get that capability. I mean, there are cars parked for miles around here, just all over the place. 39 seconds to go in quarter number 3. We are tied at 35. So 12 minutes and 39 seconds of football for a chance to play for the regional championship. This kick is up in the air. Somebody's going to have to get it. Pena is going to call for a fair catch. It's on the ground. Somebody's going to have to get it. He called for the fair catch and then dropped it, but Weslaco is going to get it at the 26-yard line. They've got 38 seconds to go. Maybe one time to just air it out to Rojas or Tamez or Herrera or Mishak Rivas. Just send them down there on the fly pattern and watch him run.
Yeah, just like they did in the first quarter. That was a score by the Mavericks, by the way. They had scored since midway through the second quarter, so the defense, they did their job. They, made a few stops. They made 4 big ones in this football game.
Yeah, they scored on the big play. Here we go. Rivas in motion. Dylan De Leon. He's rushing. He's still throwing. He's throws it out of bounds. The only one near it was a Maverick, but is there a penalty? I don't know.
No, I was just pointing to Rojas because Rojas was out there trying to get open once again, but nothing doing. He was well covered. That's why De Leon just threw it away.
Well, if he's a freshman running like this, Carlos, who knows what his future is going to be at Weslaco High School. All right, 25-yard line, 26-yard line. Second down and 10. We still have 31 seconds to go in the quarter. Rivas in motion. Pitch out. Mishak trying to get outside. He got one man to beat. And out of bounds he goes at about maybe the 27-yard line. He did stop the clock, which to me, like I said, it's important. The clock right now is important at least for the next 23 seconds.
Yeah, once again, the Maverick defense out there, some white jerseys, and kind of limits the moves that Mishak can make. Can he go to the inside? Well, you got the pursuit coming up. Can you go to the outside? Well, you got the sideline there.
Yeah,
so
exactly. But Mishak is smart enough. He doesn't try to get that extra yard sometimes and keep it in bounds. He'll go to the sideline. He'll take what he takes what he can get. Here we go. 23 seconds to go. Big third down and 9 play. Rivas, and they're going to bring him down well short of the first down. That's going to bring up 4th down. They're going to call a timeout, Carlos, because 4th down, and that's a smart play. Use one of your timeouts because now you're forced to punt. But with a good punt here, we could make them have bad field position if we can get it away.
Here's the replay once again. Mishak goes, he goes to the right side, nothing there, goes to the left, and once again, the Maverick, now they're playing tougher defense like they did in that first quarter.
Yeah, well, we stung them. I mean, I don't think they believed that this was going to happen to them, but they're in a battle, and we've got a whole quarter, and whoever wins the 4th quarter wins the ball game.
Class schedules or learn from home with online classes.
But
And now, online.
I thought before this game started, if the game got into a shootout, that Weslaco would definitely have an advantage there. And even though, Carlos, we might not be able to pass the ball as far in the 4th quarter, we can still pass it as effectively.
Right.
And we can still run the football.
Yeah, they can still pass. They proved that on early on the first drive of the game where they were able to pass it to Mishak. And another thing you talked about, 40-mile-per-hour winds, probably about 30, 35 now because it has slowed down a little bit.
Rivas is going to punt the ball. The line of scrimmage will be the 27. But we need a good punt here to put them back a little bit.
They got 2 men back there, so they want to return on this one.
Oh yeah, for sure. But this is the last time we're going to have the win this quarter. Good snap back. Nice kick that time by Mishak at about the 40-yard line. He's thinking reverse. There's a penalty marker down, and the line of scrimmage. Oh, we got a little extracurricular going on between Rene Tamez and one of the Mavericks, but let's see who's good. Somebody's going to pick up a personal foul penalty here.
No, I think it's going to be more of a blocking penalty.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, because it came during the return.
Okay. I thought maybe a little extra at the end there.
What a good job by Jerry Espinosa also, Terry, to make that tackle there. In the first hit, he gets on there and gets his helmet in the jersey and the numbers and makes the stop.
Well, let's see what this is going to be a very key penalty here. Because if it goes against the Panthers, it's going to give the Mavericks.
On return, 10-yard spot.
It'll be a block in the back.
First down.
It's the second time we've had one of those against the Mavericks.
Well, now they only going to have. Now they may. I don't know if they're going to let the clock run or just the clock stay that way until the snap of the ball.
Yeah, for the snap of the ball.
Okay. So they've got one play against the win, and then we go to the 4th quarter, and then all bets are off. Anything can happen.
No, that clock's going to start, Terry. I was wrong.
Okay. Well, I don't know. On a change of possession, does it start? I don't think so.
Not moving.
7 seconds to go.
Well, that was right.
Ehrlich under center. Hand off inside. They're going to bring him down at about the 36-yard line. And that's going to do it. We're going to go to the fourth quarter, and we're tied at Bobby Lackey, 35-35. Carlos, we go to the fourth quarter. I was just talking to a young man beside us who's been working up here all game from the San Antonio Express News. Is one of his few trips down here, and it's going to be a good ball game. And you know, one of the things that has been a big factor all day long is the wind. I think the advantage in the fourth quarter to the Mavericks for the win. I think the advantage for the Panthers is the crowd.
Yeah, and kind of balance things out a little bit.
Yep, it sure is. Ehrlich in the backfield, he's out of a shotgun, second down and 10. He looks over the middle, and this pass is incomplete, but a late flag came in. Remember, maybe pass interference on this play. That came from the side judge over there on the far side of the field.
Well, I think they're going to say our cornerback whether bumped into the receiver, but one of those hard plays to call from way up here.
We haven't had a lot of penalties so far.
No, it's been a very good game by the Panthers as far as penalties are concerned. No turnovers, knock on wood, of course.
Yep, this is going to cost them at least 5 and probably a first down here. And they had him on 2nd and 10.
Defensive interference. On the spot foul, automatic first down.
This is where the crowd needs to really let him have it.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw that play a little bit, and you know, we had an opportunity. I think it was Espinosa had an opportunity to catch the football, and they both just went at it, and there was a little bit of bumping, and that's why they got the call.
It's one of the few times, though, that pass over the middle has been in question. Usually that's a sure reception.
There's the replay, and it looked like just a bang-bang play. Both the defender, Espinosa, and the receiver just going after the football.
Well, the ball is on the 42-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Mavericks. We're just underway here in the fourth quarter. Big wind advantage for the Mavericks, but a fake pump up the middle. We got a receiver out there and caught and down to the 20-yard line. What a tremendous catch by the wide receiver going up. And that's number 8.
Yeah, that's Nate Askew, and you talk about size being a factor, and that time Ehrlich just throws it up there, and you know, we do our best to try to stop him, but Askew with his height, big Terrell Owens type, just go up there and just grabs the football.
Ball on the 20-yard line, a little pump fake that time by Ehrlich, and Askew made a great catch and run down the sideline to the 20-yard line, and all of a sudden now the Mavericks are threatening the score here. Drop back, Ehrlich over the middle, and
awesome.
Tremendous hit by Melchor Valdez. He timed that. As soon as the receiver touched the ball, he let him have it.
Well, how many times have they gone up the middle, and that time Valdez said, you know what, not this time. You talk about not in our house. Well, that play right there, that jarred the ball loose. Great photography. Good job. Rafael Cavazos on the camera down there also, by the way, but good job by Melchor Valdez to make that stop. If he doesn't make that hit, the receiver comes down with the catch, it would be a one-handed catch.
Yeah, the oohs and ahs, Carlos, to the crowd on that hit. All right, here we go, 2nd down and 10. Ehrlich out of a shotgun this time. Hand off to Green. Let's see, he breaks a tackle. He's cutting back against the grain, and I see a penalty marker, though, in the middle of the field. And despite the run, let's see what the penalty is going to be.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those where they're going to come back. I already saw Ehrlich tell the coaches it's on us, and it's going to be holding. Yes. So 2 big plays.
Wow.
How big was that play by Melchor Valdez to make the stop? Now 2 back-to-back plays for the Weslaco Panthers, and the momentum now starting to shift a little bit for the Panthers.
Before we go off the air, I do want to mention Mike Palacios on one camera, Rafael Cavazos on the other camera. We got Julian Oliveras down in the truck. We got Steve Valdez, Jim Zavala, the entire KYS crew. Gabe Cruz helping out as well. Got Carlos Robledo, the sidekick here beside me.
Calvillo also.
Joey Calvillo. We can't forget Joey. And we've got the whole crew out here tonight, and we're having a great time. This is what high school football is and should be all about. 11 minutes and 10 seconds to go and counting down quarter number 4. We're tied at 35 here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. Ehrlich calling the signals here. Drop back, no pressure on, no pressure over the middle. He's got it, well, he had Askew. He threw a rocket at him, and Askew just couldn't catch it.
And it's one of those catches, that's one of those plays where you ask your receiver to make the catch, and it looked like it was there as Ehrlich, not a lot of pressure. He caught, and then finally had to get rid of it, felt some pressure coming up, and Askew, I think that's a drop there for the big boy from San Antonio.
I don't know if Madison is used to those replays almost every single play. It's probably a new experience. All right, here we go. Big third down and 18. Let's see if the Panther defense can hold. Ehrlich looking around. Drop back, looking to his left. He fires the ball, and I don't know if he caught it. I think
hit the ground.
Yeah, it hit the ground. Now, here's the other situation with the wind, Carlos. 4th down and long, but with this wind, they're in field goal range.
Well, they're changing personnel, so I think they're going to go for the kick, and I see someone holding a tee out there. So, yeah, this is going to be a long kick here for the Mavericks. So that's another defensive win for the Panthers.
35-yard line. This is a 45-yard attempt on the right hash mark.
John Vivian is the kicker.
Yep. And this is huge. This is one of the benefits or perks that go with that win. But he's going to have to get it up in a hurry. Snapback is there. The kick is on the way. Did he make it or not?
Yep.
He did. And the Mavericks have come back from a 7-point deficit. They lead 38-35. But yeah, about the Panthers. They stopped them and made them go to the 3-point. The Panthers can score 7 and take the lead again.
That's where that win is playing a little bit of a factor right there, as that helps this long kick. But another win for the Panther defense. Good job by them to force them for the kick. Yeah, 7 points, a lot harder to come back than 3. So good job by that Panther defense. That's a tough offense on the other end, and they held them to 3 points.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I'll tell you, a great kick from that right hash mark, but the wind, that doesn't make it going the other way. So the wind really helped out the Mavericks, but we've got a long time to go, Carlos. There's 10:49 to go in the ball game. Anything can happen.
You got to remember, the Mavericks had the ball in pretty good field position. They didn't have to start at the 20. They had the ball right around the 35, 37-yard line, and they still weren't able to punch it in.
Well, remember that penalty killed them, though. They had the ball down at the 2-yard line. The penalty made them come all the way back, and instead of getting the 7 points, which they probably would have got, now they had to settle for 3.
And don't forget about the hit by Melkor. He makes that stop right there. That could be a catch if he doesn't make that hit.
All right, let's see what we got here. Panthers bring him out on the field. Look where Meshach Rivas is. He's about 9 yards deep in the end zone here, and he will bring it out if he gets to the ball. He will bring it out. So like I said, you don't fall asleep with that guy out there, because he can take it 100 every. In fact, didn't he have one of about 108 this year already? There's a good kick. Rivas is going to field it about 3 yards deep, and here he comes. Trying to make a move, cutting back, still going, trying to get to the outside, spinning, 25, 30, and stops. He just stopped on a dime and says, "Go on by, guys." What a run back from about 2 yards in.
Well, that was an outstanding run, and the scouts here are watching these moves by Meshach Rivas, and you'll see it right here. He gets the ball in the end zone, and what's he going to do? Just trot out to the 20-yard line? No, use a little bit of quickness, a little bit of speed, breaks a couple of tackles, and we talk about his acceleration. That little spin move right there, he picks up an extra 10 yards because of that.
Yeah, he is just so much fun to watch. He has been a joy for 4 years for the Panthers. Inside handoff, fumble! Oh my, bad break for the Panthers. The Mavericks come away with it. Tafoya fumbled the football, and the Mavericks are going to take over from the 35. That, up to this point, is one of the real keys of the ball game.
Yeah, and the Mavericks know how big that stop is, because they come off the field cheering up, jumping up and down, knowing that that was a big play right there, because Weslaco, they've pretty much gone through this defense like a hot knife through butter, if I could use that old cliche.
Yeah, the Panther defense, the Panther offense can stay with this defense, as good as this defense is, but that was a big turnover. Now the Panther defense is going to be called upon to at least, Carlos, holding to at least 3 points or less. Ball on the 35-yard line. Ehrlich looking around here. Short field to work with. Hand off to Green. They got him in the backfield. Franklin. Oh, big little J.L. Franklin, number 22, got number 22.
He had to come out there and make a play. He's one of the quickest defensive linemen that you'll see out there, and he penetrates quickly. And there was a little bit of a hesitation between Ehrlich and Green, almost like, you know what, we're going to fake the reverse. Yep. And because of that little hesitation, Franklin was there to make the play.
Well, Green is going out of the ball game, Carlos, and they're going to bring somebody else in. All of a sudden now, instead of 1st and 10, It's 2nd and 15. The ball back at the 40-yard line. Ehrlich again in an apparent passing situation here. He's looking to his right, now over the middle. He's got a receiver. And out of bounds, they're going to catch the ball at the 24. They're going to count the reception. This is huge, Carlos. We need to hold these guys to 0 or 3, no more than that.
Well, how about this pass by Ehrlich? As he, Panther defense has done an outstanding job, but it's hard to stop this big quarterbacks, big receivers out there, and that one was right on the money.
Yep, it sure was. 23-yard line, and he put it in a perfect spot because even if he missed the pass, nobody else could have got to it.
You got to feel confident, though, that this Weslaco defense can come up with another stop, though, seeing what they've done all game long.
All right, Ehrlich sends a man in motion. Now he turns around and hand off to Green, and he cuts up against the grain, breaking tackles, spinning. He gets down to about the 12 or 13-yard line. He's going to pick up a first down, and San Antonio getting the advantage of that short field after the turnover, and they've got the wind as well. And this is almost a repeat, Carlos, of the first quarter.
And it looks like Green now playing, and the Mavericks playing with a little bit more energy and a little bit more sense of urgency, knowing that they're in for a ball game here.
9:39 to go. The clock is stopped. I'm not sure why, but now it's starting to run. Ehrlich, hand off to Green again. Wide open, takes it to the end zone, touchdown. Boy, he found a hole in the middle, and he was untouched from 9 yards out. So Green picks up the touchdown, and all of a sudden the Mavericks, who were down 35-28, have scored the last 16 points in a row to take a big lead here with 9:29 to go in the ballgame.
And the Panthers scored after their turnover, and now the Mavericks score after our turnover. So we're trading that little stat back and forth right there. But this one was big because it's in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it sure is. Extra point attempt coming up by Vivian. And he punches it through. And it is now 45-35. Don't count the Panthers out yet. We got a lot of football yet to play, and it's been one of those back and forth ball games the entire way.
Yeah, a lot of time left on the clock, and 10 points is really nothing for this Weslaco Panther offense, but they need to get their hands on the football. That's what they need to do, and once they get their hands on the ball, anything can happen. Yeah, also hold on to the football. Yeah, exactly right.
You know, and here's the battle of wills going on. Carlos, you played high school football here. The battle of wills is this. Both these teams have a fine core of senior players. Somebody's going to have to play their last game of their career right now.
Yeah,
and now you got to dig down, and the seniors got to dig down. This is where the leadership comes in, and to me, it's just a battle of your will.
Yeah,
you will yourself to do this stuff.
Yeah, and I go back to the energy of the crowd. You feed off of that, and Terry, they're down by 10 points. Nobody has left the stadium.
Oh, no.
I mean, there's cars parked all around.
They're coming in.
Weslaco. Yeah, people are probably driving by wanting to see the score off that big scoreboard. There's people lined up outside watching this game.
Look at that big stretch limo slowing down.
There's people that are outside watching this game off the big board, Terry. Amazing. The atmosphere here is just incredible.
Yep.
Gotta love it.
Big crowd, over 10,000 people. Meshach Rivas trying to play one more game as a senior here at Bobby Lackey Stadium. And the crowd draws pretty quiet for right now, but it's going to get loud here in a hurry.
You know, people wanted tickets for this football game, Terry. I mean, people were lined up at 8:30 this morning to buy tickets on the other side, on the visitor side. It's all packed over there. You see a lot of orange for the Mavericks, but there's more purple jerseys than anything else. It's a tough ticket. There's a lot of excitement. It's not just Weslaco fans that are here, but Valley fans are here, as this is the only game in the Valley being played in the third round of the playoffs.
All right, here we go. With the wind, let's see what the kicker does with it. We know he's got the leg to kick it out of here. Is he going to do it? Punches it down to about the 10-yard line. Thomas with the football, trying to find a hole, and he slips down at the 23-yard line, and that's where the Panthers will take over. Ooh, how do you slip on the turf? But maybe it is slippery out there. It's hard to tell.
It's been a very good turf. I talked to someone before the football game. They said, how long have you all had this turf? I go, this is our first year to get the turf, and it's been outstanding. It plays very well, just like grass. Right. Not a lot of slippage. That's really the first one. And the ball bounces a little bit differently, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It just kind of dies right there. It doesn't spin around and squirt all over the place.
Well, last week against Mac High was a real test of it because it was raining the entire evening. And it held up very, very well.
Yeah, and what a change as far as the weather is concerned.
Yeah.
It was so cold, 45, 38 degrees. This time, it's like spring-like weather now. Wind coming out of the south, nice and cool breeze, about 75 degrees right now.
I love it. Under center, Dylan De Leon, Del Toro in motion. Rivas coming the other way, behind Severn again. Takes a burst, and there he goes! The 50, cuts back against the grain, puts a move on it, the 30. Still trying to stiff arm down and out of bounds at the 12-yard line. Vintage, Meshach Rivas. What a play by the senior running back.
Is he the real deal? We know he's the real deal in the Rio Grande Valley. And with a play like that right there, he breaks open the big one. He shows that he is the real deal in the state of Texas, going up against a 6th-ranked team in the state of Texas. And watch the little moves he makes right there. One guy even fell down. Looked like they were going to make a little stop right there, but he stumbles there towards the end. That's the little Meshach move that he can make on you.
Well, for a single season, Carlos, he's the greatest running back in Valley history. That we can attest to. Del Toro in motion again. Fakes the handoff. Dylan De Leon's going to throw it across to Rivas. There's a penalty marker down. They push him out of bounds, but let's see what that penalty marker, because it's away from the play a little bit. And Coach Tony V is, I don't know what we got going here. Now the statistics for Rivas today, Carlos, count for this season. So if he adds on another couple 100 yards today, that's going to make that record even harder to climb.
This penalty is going to go against the Mavericks.
Okay.
So catching a little bit of a break right there. The Panthers are to keep this drive going, and they need to get 7 points on this
Yes,
game.
they do.
They need to get 7 points on the board. There's still a lot of time left, but you don't want to get the ball back in the hands of the Mavericks. The last 2 times they've had the ball, they put points on the board.
Guzman and Tafoya come into the ball game. Now let's see what they're going to do with this penalty.
Well, down by 10 also, Terry. The wind is going to play a factor.
Yep.
After this is go.
Holding.
Automatic first down.
Adiaga now warming up because he knows that he may have to go out there and kick. I'm sorry. Not Adiaga.
Well,
Adiaga.
Adiaga's holding the ball
Yeah,
for
he's holding
Lugo.
the ball, though.
For Lugo, yeah. Here we go. First down and goal to go. Rivas in motion. Handoff. Nope, pitch out. Rivas. 10. Cuts back. Penalty markers everywhere. That's got to be a holding call because there were penalty markers. They're looking right at Eric Guzman. I don't know if it's him, but we'll wait and see here.
Well, our guys are doing the best they can to go up against a bigger football team and just fighting and clawing, and they're going to call a holding right here on us. A couple of flags came out.
Yeah, the boy, it must have been obvious. I didn't see it, but there was 2 yellow markers that came out at the same time. Yeah, let's see what it probably is holding.
Yeah, this is when the crowd really needs to get into it because you talk about the energy. Even though the Mavericks were on offense, but the players down the field, they'll feed off of that energy. They'll feed off of the excitement.
On the offense, 10 yards, previous spot. First down.
It's kind of quiet. Everyone's kind of like, okay, what's going to happen? Watching this football game in anticipation.
Well, first down and goal to go from the 17-yard line. Remember, the Panthers need 2 scores. They need a field goal and they need a touchdown. And if Lugo is kicking, they might have him in line for a field goal if they have to get to it. Rivas again, getting to the outside, cuts up against the grain, and he gets inside maybe to the 14-yard line before the Madison Mavericks kind of meet up with him.
Mavericks now have a little bit more respect for the Panthers.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
they meet up right there, a little bit of talking, but some patting on the helmets also saying, okay, good job,
Well, this is a good ball game. I mean, the Harris poll had the Mavericks a 21-point favorite, but
La Jolla 16, Converse Jensen 34.
La Jolla losing to Converse Jensen 34-16.
Here we go. Out of a shotgun is Dylan De Leon. Fakes. He's going to go behind some blockers. Gets to the outside. Cuts. 10. Oh, he comes down hard at the 10-yard line. That's going to bring up 3rd and goal. In on the play for the Mavericks, number 6, Jason McLean, a linebacker safety.
The junior quarterback right here as they fake it to Meshach, and he makes one guy miss. Just tries to get to the outside, but unable to get there, but still positive yards, and I think the Mavericks just took a timeout.
Brought to you by Extreme
Well,
Car
3rd down
Audio
and 10. I think the Panthers might have because they've only got 1 left on the board. Wow.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep. Well, anyway, Carlos, 45-35. As I mentioned, the Harris ones that picks the favorites pick the Mavericks as a 21-point favorite. There's no 21-point difference between these two teams.
No, not at all. It has been just an outstanding football game. And I think a lot of us expected, if you go down the monitor and you take a look at the predictions, there's only one reporter that picked the Weslaco Panthers to win the football game, and it was Jason McDaniel, and he's the one that follows the Weslaco Panthers. He covers 32-5A, so he knows what the Panthers can do. He knows what they can do offensively. He knows what they can do defensively. So he's the only one that picked them to win, and so far his prediction looks pretty good.
Well, the Panthers have got some work to get done, but Carlos, they need to put some points on the board here. Whether it's 3 or whether it's 7, they need to come out. They need to come out with some positive points. They do have Lugo trying the field goal. He doesn't normally do that, but he's got the stronger leg of the two. Dylan DeLeon over the eye, fakes, looks into the end zone. He got a wide open receiver. Oh, knocked down. A good play by both offense and defense.
Is that Jacob Garza who was down there? I thought I saw number 10.
Yeah,
no, it's Mishak.
That's Mishak.
It was Mishak. They were trying to get it to him, and he threw it up there. A couple of guys on him, and looked like he had an opportunity to make the catch, but then the contact after the play, and it bounces out. But it's 4th down, and they're going to go for it, Terry.
Yeah, they sure are. Thomas is going to come out. They're going to send Bryant Nieto into the ball game. So this is a big 4th down play. Let's see what they've got. 4th down and goal to go from about the 10-yard line. Big play in the ball game coming up here. Dylan DeLeon. Big drop, big drop. Oh my, he gets sacked back at the 25-yard line. The Mavericks are going to take over from there. Wow, he never had a chance.
Yeah,
they are all over him.
Well, it's a 4th down. They need to get to the end zone. 4th down, ball was at around the 15-yard line, and they knew they were going to pass, so they just send everybody at him.
Yep, the line of scrimmage was actually the 10, I believe, but he really got dumped for a big loss that time. He just kept retreating back. They might have been setting up a screenplay. I don't know.
Well, they send a couple of linebackers in and just put the pressure on DeLeon.
Well, the ball is at the 22. Now the defense, Carlos, we need to force some kind of a turnover here, and or make these guys punt. And we've done this before, so
they've played the stops. They've made the stops when they needed to.
Okay, looks like they're gonna play the running game here a little bit, and there might be inside handoff up to about the 25-yard line, and that's a new runner that time. That's number 42. We haven't called his number yet in the ball game.
But anytime you can stock the clock, you're down by 10 points. It certainly does benefit the team that's behind.
They put a little pressure on him, even though he double pumped. He got a little pressure put on him that time. Donaldson out. J.L. Franklin is coming in, the little guy that plays the defensive line. Oh, he's coming right straight back out. I don't know what he's doing, and I don't know if that's an illegal sub or not. We'll wait and see for the side judge here. 3rd down and about 8 yards to go. Ehrlich with a big drop, over the middle. He's got a receiver and knocked down by Adrian Gonzalez. That's going to bring up 4th down. It's incomplete, and that helps us in the fact that the clock is stopped.
The clock is stopped, and they're going to have to punt the football. That's the biggest point of that play right there, is that another stop by the Weslaco Panthers, this time critical in the 4th quarter.
Not only that, another opportunity for Mishak Rivas to get his team right back into the football game. Now, they're going to have an advantage on the punt. The line of scrimmage is the 25, and Mishak is going all the way back to the other 25. So you can expect with the wind starting to pick up a little bit again here, a big punt. Good snapback. Blocked! It's blocked by Mondragal, and a break for the Panthers. Matthew Mondragal.
How did he get back there? You talk about energy and not wanting to play your last game in the 3rd round of the playoffs. Matthew Madrigal, yes, the big 6'1", 220-pounder, able to penetrate the line of scrimmage and the block. So far, one of the biggest plays. Every play is big. That one big right now in the 4th quarter. It gets the ball right back in the hands of the Weslaco Panthers.
Del Toro and Sanchez come in as a tandem. Rivas out there, ball on the 29-yard line. Look for Del Toro to go in motion. He's coming that way toward the quarterback. Hand off to Rivas. Tries to cut up against the grain, and they're going to get him at about the 30-yard line. He's going to be short, maybe a yard. Right now, the clock management, everybody on the same page here. It's a loss of maybe a half a yard, but once again, we've seen this play where it's a setup play. It's coming one way, and then all of a sudden we set it up and we go the other way. Guzman and Tafoya going back in.
Yeah, and they're going to have to, go deep into that playbook a little bit. We haven't seen any trick plays so far by the Panthers. They've changed things up a little bit passing-wise, but no trickery so far for the Panthers.
All right, here we go. De Leon, hand off, fakes, nope. He's going to throw the ball over the middle. He's got a receiver. Did he catch it? No. Boy, that was into some traffic there. And the intended receiver that time was Eric Hernandez, number 20.
Yeah, and he still almost made that catch there after all the bobbling and blocking of that football. He threw it up there. Yeah, a little bit of traffic, but you got to make something happen. You got to make a play because you're running out of time here. Down by 10 points, under 6 minutes in this football game. There's tight coverage. You got to maybe try to squeeze it in there. There's no tomorrow if you lose tonight.
Yep. Guzman and Rojas, the freshman in the ball game. Tight formation. Hand up. Nope. Fake. De Leon. He's got a receiver. Oh, they picked the ball up at the 20. Underthrows for Rojas down the sideline and out of bounds. And they bring it up to they're going to say, now there's a penalty marker at the 28. I don't think it's going to be an interference. The ball was just underthrown, and I think that was Wiggins that intercepted the ball.
And I see Coach Villaralo there,
just underthrown a little bit.
Pat the helmet of De Leon and just, stay, hey, come on, man, let's stay positive. We're still in this football game, and that's what you got to do.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get your head down.
Well, you get it back once, Carlos, you can get it back again. You know what I mean? Let's see where they're going to mark the football. But the defense is definitely out on the field as Ehrlich and his team. Last time they did us a favor, Carlos, by passing the football. And didn't really take a whole lot of time off the clock.
Yeah, and I think what they're trying to do, the Mavericks are trying to put this team away.
Yes, and they can't do it.
They want to put the final nail in the coffin, as they say, and they just can't get it down the field. And the defense has done an outstanding job in this football game.
Yeah, I think the defense, for 45 points, Carlos,
you got to give them credit.
Almost all the points but one touchdown have been with the win. Ehrlich. High formation, Green, and they're going to bring him down at about the 18-yard line, but all he's doing there is into the middle and he's killing some time.
Yeah, but this Weslaco Panther team is not giving up at all. They're still playing hard-nosed football, taking every hit that they get and continuing to play, knowing they're only down by 10 points. I don't know how many times San Antonio has just blown out their opponents. It happened, last night, the Harlingen South, the #1 team, in the season, in the Monitor poll in 12-0 all season long, and they lost big time. Here, the Panthers are only down by 10 with 5 minutes left.
That gets to number 16. Ehrlich again, pitch out to Green, trying to get wide, trying to get it to the outside. Oh, big block on Torres. A foot race is on, and the Panthers are going to bring the runner down, but he's going to get a first down. The only thing there is it got out of bounds, and the clock should stop at that point.
And Julio De Leon makes that play right there. He's a defensive lineman. Where did he come from? He plays up in the middle, but he knows, he never gives up on the play, and that's the heart and determination of this Panther football team and this defense, because if he's not there, that Green is gone for a touchdown.
Yeah, somebody made a nice block on Danny Torres. Otherwise, he might have got there, but look where Torres is playing. He had to come from across the field to get to that play. So the ball is on the 34-yard line. 4:50 to go in the fourth quarter. The Mavericks up by 10, 45-35. A trip to the regional finals on the line here in this football game. Ehrlich, handoff to Green. He's got some room this time. And Adrian Gonzalez is waiting for him, and he said, I'll take you down. And he did at the 46, but not before they get a first down.
On the carry, number 22, Andrew Green. Stop by number
Andrew Green's had a big day.
Can't ask for anything more from this defense.
And as long as number 12 has a breath left, we have a chance, because every time we touch the ball offensively,
this is one of those.
We're in it. We are in the game.
Yeah, and this is one of those times in the game where people at home and people in the stands say we need a turnover, we need a fumble, we need something big to happen right now.
Need a spark. We need a spark right here. Somebody hit this guy hard. Green has got some room. He breaks a tackle and he gets inside the 50 to the 49-yard line. Marco Alvarez is able to trip him up, but all of a sudden their offensive line, Carlos, is getting stronger. Got something out on the field. What is that, a hubcap or a beach ball, or what's that on the field?
It's like a plate.
Yeah, it looks like a spinning plate, doesn't it?
Alvarez on that play, Terry. I want to give him a lot of credit, because he is actually blocked. He's on the ground, gets back up and makes the tackle.
Look at the wind. The wind is what's pushing that down the field.
Yeah, I think the wind actually picked up with
Yes.
It's picked up more. It's blowing even harder now. Back up to 40 miles an hour, it seems like.
Second down and about 4 to go. Ehrlich hand off to Green. Bursts through. He's got some room, and he's going to take off. And he's going to win the foot race against Valdez. Well, he brings him down, but he gets the touchdown. Well, that might clinch it right there, but like I said, we still got some time, and if we can put points on the board, we can come back. But the Mavericks, that was a big, big touchdown. They lead 51-35.
Well, Valdez never gave up on that play either, because, he goes down there, and what he's trying to do is strip the ball at the very last minute. He almost got it.
Yeah, he sure did.
And here it is. Here's the play at the very end. And Valdez, look what he does. And he's just running out of gas and going up against Big Green and just almost strips the ball away. You got to love the way this team has fought and played this entire game.
Extra point attempt is up and through the middle. And with 3:33 to go, the Mavericks leading now by a score of 52-35. And once again, Carlos, all their points but one have been with the win. They've scored all their points with the win.
Yeah, the win played a big factor. It really slowed the Weslaco Panthers down in the first quarter of the football game. They were able to get some points against the win, but then after that it was pretty tough. And the Mavericks, like you said, in that first quarter, they got all their points with the win. They didn't get any in the third.
Yeah, a couple
against the win.
Yeah,
no,
a couple. I think once.
Okay.
But once again, Carlos, we've had some opportunities here. We had the ball down inside at about the 10-yard line a couple of times. We got the turnover. It just those were not meant to be, but who knows? We've still got Mishak Rivas on the field, and we've seen him take it 100 yards. And if they can get one touchdown here, Carlos, and get that little spark, you never know what can happen on an onside kick. Strange things can happen on a football field.
Yeah, it's not. I wouldn't say it's over yet. Not
yet.
No,
not
still
yet.
3:33 left, and Mishak is out there, and he doesn't want this to be his last game. So, and all the seniors on this team, they don't want it to be their last game. So they're going to come out here and play hard once they get their hands on the ball.
Is this the heir apparent? Mishak Rivas is out there. They brought John Rojas, the freshman, out there.
Well, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent in West.
Oh, yeah.
And like I said earlier, if you still got Coach Villarreal, who has won everywhere he's gone, Port Isabel, PSJ North, Hannah, now Weslaco, everywhere he's been in the Valley, he's won. So I think as long as he's there, you got a shot to make the playoffs, win a district championship every year.
Yeah, that's for sure. His system is very good, and if you get the right players, they can go a ways. That's for sure. They punched the ball. They're not going to give Rivas a shot at it. Picked it up to 15. Trying to get wide. And whoa, they slam him down at about the 9-yard line. A vicious tackle on Eric Hernandez, who carried the football. But you're right, Carlos. As long as Villarreal, like you said, has been a winner every single school he's been at.
And he's come in with a good system. He's come in with the wing T offense, and it's a very popular offense. You can't argue with the second leading offense in the state of Texas. And even though Mishak's going to graduate, we certainly have a lot of speed here in Weslaco, and we can compete with that offense and with him and his leadership.
De Leon is in the backfield. Hand off on a draw play to Rivas, and let's see if he breaks it up the middle. There he goes to the outside. 35, 40, still going and following his blocking. 50, down the sideline, out of bounds, and that is Mishak Rivas in a nutshell. He, the greatest runner in Rio Grande Valley history for a single season, without a doubt, and he is making that record almost unreachable.
Yeah, he had under 100 yards in the first half, but I think he's well over 100 yards now in the game, maybe even at 200 after this long run right here. And look what he does. He makes a couple of moves down the field, and people are turning around, trying to get the angles on him. They've seen this type of speed up there in San Antonio before, so they know how to contain, they know how to take the angles on a fast runner.
All right, here we go. First down and 10 for Weslaco at the 38-yard line. Dylan De Leon, still rolling. Lofts it up the field and then throws it out of bounds. That just makes it incomplete. It's kind of like spiking the ball. But, Carlos, to me, Mishak Rivas has more than speed. He's got the whole package. He is a shifty runner and a smart runner. And, some guys are just fast.
Yeah.
And get by on the speed. But a guy that can stop and go and follow his blocking and do what he's doing. And not only that, he's not a bad receiver of the football either.
Right.
He's got good hands, so he's going to be valuable to a college team next year, that is for sure. Second down and 10. Rivas in the slot as a receiver. Dylan DeLeon going, still rolling, still rolling. He's got Rivas open at the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown Weslaco! 3:01 to go. Don't go away. Rivas.
He was tripped up at the line of scrimmage, but he got in there somehow or another with 3:01 now. Panthers still staying alive in this game. You know, the San Antonio Express News guy, he took off, but he's down on the field, and you know, the Weslaco Panthers not out of this game quite yet, folks. With 3:01 left, there's still time to put some more points on the board.
Oh, what a run by Meshach Rivas after he caught the football.
What a show he has put on.
Oh, yeah.
And Meshach and Coach Villarreal, they're a dangerous combination.
All right, 3:01 to go in the fourth quarter. 52-41, there's the snapback. The kick is up, and it is through. So we've got 3:01 to go. You got to know, whoop, we're losing our papers up here. As a big gust of wind came along, and we're doing a little paperwork up here. Don't forget the sunglasses, Carlos. But Carlos, we've got to go for the onside kick because there's no way we can only stop the clock once, so we might as well, you know, do what we got to do, get the football. What a great finish, Carlos, at the very end. What an effort by Meshach Rivas to get into that end zone. The camera crew tonight has been outstanding. The guys, Mike Palacios and Rafael Palacios and Val Zamora. I forgot Val Zamora. I went through, sorry, Val. He's doing all the camera work upstairs and doing a great job. And this has been an unbelievable 2007 season. For the first time in history, Carlos, both the Wildcats and the Panthers make the playoffs.
Yeah, he just barely got over the end zone. Looked like his knee touched right in front of the goal line as the ball was crossing the plane there for the touchdown. So just a tremendous effort by Meshach. And also, how about De Leon?
Yes.
Over 100 yards passing, you know, just in the first half. So a good job by him. Look at the balance here towards the very end to get across.
I thought Meshach is on the field right now. He's resting up. He might be getting ready to go back onto the field because, you know, look at the Madison players. It's always interesting to see where they're going to kick this football. They're going to have to hold it. That's going to take one of the Panther players away from it, but they're going to go there. Let's see who was going to get it here. And remember, he's kicking into the wind. He could almost float this ball up there and then have somebody go down and chase it. Here we go. Onside kick coming into the middle. It's on the ground. Who's got it? The Panthers say they have it. Let's wait and see. There is a mad drive underneath for that football.
Just listen to the crowd.
Oh, you'll know by the crowd. You will know by the crowd. Oh, Madison must have got it. Boy, look at the big guy. Is it Askew that come up with it? Number 8.
Recovered by the Mavericks.
Boy, I'll tell you, what a mad scramble. Nothing went off the clock, Carlos, even though people touched the football.
Well, they had the opportunity there. It bounced off of one of the legs, actually one of the hands of the Mavericks, and the Panthers had an opportunity to get it. But under that pile, who knows what was going on? Askew coming up with it.
Here's what's amazing, and they may change it. No time went off the clock. Now, the clock is supposed to start when the ball touches somebody. And you know it touched it. There was a big pile before they uncovered it. There could have been seconds off the clock. It's right on the 50-yard line. Donaldson late getting back onto the field, getting down into a set position. Last time they had the ball, they got a big touchdown. Green cuts it right up the middle, and there he goes again. Oh, my. This is a tough break for the Weslaco. They're going to bring him down before the touchdown, but now all of a sudden they've got the ball on the 5-yard line. That's 2 straight plays by Green. And
there's a flag, though.
Okay,
there is a flag on the field,
okay.
Terry.
Yeah,
I didn't see it. I see it now, but this one's going to come back, it looks like.
Well, if it comes back a little bit, it would help. But Carlos, you take that 7 points away that they scored the last time they touched the ball.
Personal foul.
We got a brand new ball game. Yep.
That's a personal foul right around the 25-yard line, I believe. And they're going to bring it from there. I guess from the spot of the foul right there, they're going to move it back 15 yards. So that's a big play for the Panthers.
The only thing they were able to do is take 10 seconds up, and I think they might still have the first down. But we'll wait and see here. Yeah, I think they still have the first. They got a first down on the play. And so they got it from the 50 to the 39-yard line. I'm pretty sure they're going to have to move the chains here. But in a way, Carlos, if you're going to get the first down, get it on one play.
First down.
Don't drag it out. And we do have a timeout left. So let's see how Coach Tony B calls this one. Right now, Carlos, we need a jarring hit. A fumble, a turnover, and would this crowd just go crazy? Ball on the 39-yard line, 52-42, a typical Weslaco shootout here at Bobby Lackey. Handoff, Green breaks it up the middle. He's got about 3 or 4, and all of a sudden, Carlos, he's looking more like a dangerous runner for the Mavericks.
Yeah, and his biggest attribute is a power up the middle, and you know why he was a defensive back, and you know he's a safety back there floating around, probably laid some licks on people throughout most of the season. They bring him in after their #1 running back, who was a #1 recruit, goes down, you know, in October. But this guy is pretty big also, and he's been pretty effective.
He's got the lean of a runner. He just got that forward drive. Second down and about 8 yards to go at the 36-yard line. Hand off to Green again. And there he goes, and he's done this before, straight up the middle and into the end zone, touchdown. He has done this a lot here in the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Well, you know, you ask the defense to make another stop, and they've been on that field quite some time, and they got their stops, but in the end, I think the Mavericks are just a little bit more talent over there on that other side.
Well, they've made some kind of an adjustment, Carlos, that they've made because that middle has become wide open all of a sudden. We were clogging it up pretty good earlier on, but all of a sudden now it's clogged up here, and a lot of the fans are starting to go to the exits. But I'll tell you, the players on the field have not given up, that is for sure. With 1:49 to go, it's 59-42. The Mavericks up again by 17, but we've still got 1:49, and we've still got number 12 out there. And despite the lead, Carlos, they don't dare put their second-team defense on the field because Rivas has burned their first-team defense. He would just torch their second-team defense.
Yeah, well, and the Mavericks, you know, they do a job there of just running the ball. You know, when they came out with an early lead earlier, they tried to pass the ball a couple of times without much success and stopping that clock. But this time they come out and they run the ball and they pick up the big play. And Green was pretty bottled up there throughout most of the second half. But a couple of big plays late here, and that's why the Mavericks look like they're going to take this one home and go on, advance to the next round.
Now the fans are going down to the exits. You know, a lot of them will stay down there and wait for the team because win, lose, or draw, the Panther players will be meeting with their constituents. That is for sure. Somebody marching off the field on the other side. I'm not sure if those are Mavericks or Panthers. I'm looking across the way. But Carlos, it's been a great season, hasn't it? It's been just fun. It's been high scoring, record setting, historic memorial.
That we have been here for, I've been here 7 years, you've been here I think 17 years.
Ever since we went on the air.
So we've been through some lean years. It's been fun to have the Panthers, and we thank Coach Villarreal for taking over and turning this program around, because it had been a while since the Panthers had a winning season and been in the playoffs.
Yeah, especially in this third round, one more round than they were last year. This is a short kick, and I think they're going to blow the whistle. Somebody called a fair catch. Carrion took off with it, but once you call the fair catch, you can't take off with the football. And the Panthers are going to have the ball at about the 32-yard line. They're going to call the flag off. If the Panthers indeed do lose, Carlos, we're watching the conclusion of one of the greatest careers in Weslaco high school history. The career of Meshach Rivas will be talked about for many, many, many years.
He's a legend here in Weslaco.
Yep.
Definitely a legend.
Well, he not only broke the Weslaco record, he shattered them. He's the all-time Valley leader.
Yeah, a Valley legend.
Yeah, he certainly is, yep. Kellen DeLeon looking up the field. He's got a man in the middle and overthrows and intercepted. Oh my, tough break for the Panthers. As they going to bring the ball down at about the 35-yard line. The ball was just a little bit overthrown. And at this point, with only one timeout, 1:35 to go, I would expect Madison to kneel down, or maybe, I don't know, they might go for another touchdown. It's hard to say. They've got the game in hand. They've got the football with 1:35 to go in the ball game. Rivas coming off the field for probably his last time as a Panther, but Carlos, his career is not over with. It's just maybe beginning.
Yeah, and his legend will grow even more as we watch what he does at the next level. And the track season is still
yeah.
So he still wants to win state in the 400.
Well, there they go again. That's Green right up the middle, or that's big number 33. That's Pitts. And they're doing the same play every time. And basically, I think they found something in the middle that they've been able to exploit, because they weren't doing that early in the ball game up the middle. But the ball is on about the 5-yard line. We're down to about 1:25 to go. And with the score of 59-42, the Mavericks are trying to put an exclamation point on this. At one time, Carlos, we led this ball game 35-28. They have outscored us 31-7 since that point. And all going in this direction. They've had a huge fourth quarter.
Yeah, they're going to sit on this one.
They're going to sit down on the football. And that's exactly what they do. They're handing the ball to the referee.
Yeah, well, they were in for a battle.
Oh, yeah.
They were in for a battle that they probably didn't expect.
Yeah, in fact, that adjustment at the very end, Carlos, up the middle where they were running, other than that, they've kind of pulled away a little bit in the fourth quarter, but other than that, it's a tight ball game. The fans are on their feet. They are applauding the Panthers for an historic 2007 season. Once again, with 30 seconds to go, what appears to be probably the last play of the football game. Ehrlich just kneels down, and they do not even have to run a play. There's no time clock. They're going to celebrate. We wish them the best of luck, Carlos, against the Smithson Valley Rangers, because there's only 4 teams left now in the state. And the Panthers have nothing to back down from. They played an outstanding ball game. They put 42 points on the board against a very good defensive team.
Yeah, and my hats off also goes to the defense, Terry. The way they handled themselves, the way they made the stops, and they helped get this football team right back in this game. And you know, the Mavericks came out here and they scored their first 4 possessions, and they went up there 28-7. They made the stop, and then the Panthers came out there. They made their stuff. They forced a turnover. They got Weslaco right back in this football game. And at one point, the Panthers, they led this football game.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
And that was probably sending shockwaves throughout the entire state of Texas to see a Valley team beating a San Antonio team.
Oh, it would have been. It would have been a tremendous, because like I said, not only were they were 6th ranked in the state, but the Panthers, they played outstanding. And the win was a big factor here today. And in the end there, the athleticism in the fourth quarter of the Madison Mavericks might have been too much. I don't know. It's hard to say. They look pretty strong out there at the very end of the football game. But all in all, good job by the number 4 there, Ehrlich. He was on his game today. He played a good ball game. But what a career and what a day for Meshach Rivas and the Weslaco Panther football team. Because next year they're going to have some defenders coming back.
Yeah, well, there's some right there and some big plays there by the Weslaco defense. Once again, they played lights out. They played lights out. You couldn't ask for anything more from the Weslaco Panthers. And this entire season, there was a lot expected out of this football team and expected out of that man right there, Coach Villarreal, because they brought in the new turf. They have the new scoreboard. You got sponsorships and a big crowd over here. And they came in here and he brought in his staff and the Weslaco football team, and they did an outstanding job. They made things exciting again in the football world for Weslaco. They go 3 rounds into the playoffs, and Coach Villarreal is just saying, man, good job, Franklin. It could have been what it could have been. They had him against the rope. I think maybe a couple of more turnovers by the Mavericks, and it's a different ball game.
Well, I thought one of the keys too was, even though it was close, Carlos, we had a couple of opportunities down on the 10-yard line and in that we just weren't able to cash in on it. Once again, the final score here in the regional semifinals: the Madison Mavericks of San Antonio 59, the Weslaco Panthers 42. Good afternoon, everybody.